call to order the October 7th, 2025 Columbia Borough Council Workshop. Could I have a roll call, please?
Council President King,
Here.
Councilperson Kaufman,
Here.
Councilperson Stahl,
Here.
Councilperson Fisher,
Here.
Councilperson Busey,
Here.
Councilperson Murphy,
Here.
Councilperson Brigard,
Here.
Mayor Lutz.
Here.
Thank you.
And please also let the record reflect that we have Jasmine Preston, Ethan Byers, Jesse Rabinowitz, Timothy Schwartz, Kyle Ricker, and Gene Cooper in attendance as well. Great. Would anybody care to offer an invocation? No, if you, you want to offer an invocation? All right, and state your name for the record. Please rise if you would like.
Hello, my name is Rick Hayes. I am the pastor of our Columbia Victory Church location here, and I just thank you for the opportunity to be able to pray for us this evening. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before your throne. I lift up this precious and holy council of people, Father, these leaders and representatives for this Columbia community, Father. I pray that during this time that you just give us your wisdom and understanding, knowledge and discernment in the decisions that are being made for those who live in this community, for those that are going to be affected by these decisions, Father. I pray that you guide us through these proceedings. And Father, I take this time also, Father, to pray for all of our men and women who are our first responders, Father, those that are on the front lines, our police officers, our EMS, our firefighters, Father. I pray that as they put their lives on the line each and every day to protect and to serve, Father, that you protect them, watch over them, guard and keep them, Father, and make their mission, Father, is always to get out and to protect, but finalize that mission each and every day with a safe return home to their families, Father. And Father, over each and every person that is gathered here, I pray that you watch over us, guard and keep us. Make your face shine upon us, be gracious and merciful to us. May your peace be upon us and protect us always, everywhere that we go and in all that we do. We ask these things in the mighty, matchless name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Councilperson Brigard, would you like to lead us in a pledge?
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announcement of executive sessions, there were none. Are there any additions, deletions, or reorganization of the agenda needed? I'm not aware of anything. All right, could I have a motion to approve the agenda as published?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Councilperson Kaufman, second by Councilperson Stahl, to approve the agenda as published. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, citizen comment, non-agenda items only. There are no signups. Is there anyone that wanted to speak that did not get a chance to sign up? All right. Mayor Lutz?
Madam President, two quick items today and tonight, and I'll ask Chief Brommer to also join in. I want to thank our police officers for the work they did on Sunday. They assisted in a, I'll say, a very dangerous incident, a shooting where several people were killed. I think our officers were first on scene out there at Ocala. Thank God that none of our officers or other assisting officers were injured in it. And I think that speaks to the training that I know our police officers receive, and I know that most of the officers in our area, especially in Lancaster County here, receive on these responses. And we will continue with that training, and we will continue bolstering that training periodically. The other thing, it's kind of budget related. Last week we had two ribbon cuttings at parks, Jansen Park and Maple Park. And in the comments that people made, I got thinking afterwards about our parks and where our parks used to be in the past. And I recall there was one comment made about a park out on Manor Street. It was at Manor School. And I thought a lot about that. And you know, that area, as far as recreation goes, we don't have a whole lot there. Gladfelders is nearby, but you got to cross the highway and it's several blocks away. My thought is the borough should keep in mind, I'm not saying do this, keep in mind that with the McGinnis site, there may be an opportunity to carve a piece of that out for a park, a small playground. But I wouldn't want to carve that out prior to the sale. I think it would be more appropriate to try to work it in to the sale with whoever wants to develop that property. The borough may say, okay, we're going to carve out this piece of property, and that may be an important piece that someone wants in the sale. And there again, maybe as the goodness of their heart developing that area, they would put some play area in for the children. But I just wanted to bring that up so that we keep that in mind as we go down that road with the McGinnis site. Chief, you have anything?
As a result of a meeting with staff today, I received some updates on projects, so I just want to go over a few. The 137 South Front Street, the fire department building, the roof repair will begin on Friday. Maple Park project is progressing well and is on schedule. The 900 blocks of Walnut Street, the road repair project is completed and under budget. The 800 block of Chestnut Street project is coming to a conclusion. The final concrete pour took place today, and the paving will begin on Monday and should be completed by the end of the week. And lastly, the leaf pickup begins this Monday, October 13th. Thank you.
All right. Anything else from the chief's side?
No. Thank you.
All right. All right. Workshop items. The first part of this, I have had questions. Why are we doing this now? Not at a budget meeting. We're kind of getting a late start on the budget because of staff turnover and so forth. And so I thought it would be best to do the presentations from the community groups at the workshop so that we can get a better idea of numbers for our budget next week. All of the candidates for council and the mayor have been included in these budget meetings because if elected, this is going to be their budget as well. So I wanted them to be able to hear and participate in what goes into doing the budget. So there's an understanding, so they're not trying to figure it out in January after it's all been done. So, yes, we can ask questions. I'd like to keep the presentations to 5 minutes or less. I mean, it shouldn't be a problem, but, and then if there's any questions. So the first one on the list is CCAT.
Heather, if I may jump in here, does the borough have a total number for
for this year, for 2025, the excluding the fire department, because that's
Right,
in a different account.
that's totally different?
The total community contributions were 29,000 for this year. I
So
think,
we're looking at about $30,000
yes,
between 6 organizations.
yes. So, all right.
I just kind of want to put up with that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Clear for takeoff?
Yep.
Hello, good evening. My name is Dr. Nikki Waltmeyer. I am the veterinarian at the Columbia Animal Shelter, right over yonder. And what we are presenting tonight is a continuation of the budget for CCAT, which is Columbia Cat Action Team. I will tell you briefly, having to keep the two of us together in less than 5 minutes. When I went to school to be a veterinarian, you think puppies and kittens. But the second you become a veterinarian, your role as a public health advocate is essential. Public health, well, that means rabies. And in the United States, maybe 3 people die per year from rabies, so who cares, right? 50,000 die per year from rabies in Asia and other places, mainly from dog bites. So why should we care? Because the Columbia location in Borough has a large number of feral cats, community cats, street cats, cats that aren't living in a home, and cats that aren't in the shelter. And as a public health advocate to you, rabies becomes our primary priority. Rabies is expensive. Hey, guess what? There's a vaccine. We can prevent it, okay? And so what I've handed you all today, and you can read it, I don't have to take the time to do that, and I'm more than happy to talk about why we should continue to do this, because there are no reasons why we shouldn't. There are reasons why we should. And so what TNVR means is trap, neuter, vaccinate, return. We return these cats to where they were found. Their ear is tipped. They're not making babies. If they're not making babies, then there's not more of them being a nuisance to the public. And so what I would definitely propose is that with your budget, you look at what CCAT is asking for and you say, yes, we need to continue doing this. We've been making a dent. We need to continue to make a dent. And not only as a public health advocate, as a veterinarian, I was taught to spay and neuter. So it doesn't matter if it's your brother, your sister, your aunt, your uncle, they're going to make babies. And that's annoying. And they spread disease. And so Liz with CCAT is just very briefly going to give you the financial numbers for that. But I've included some information about rabies in Lancaster County. It's a real disease. It does exist. I'd love to bring a rabid animal in here, and I would be the only one that walks out alive because I'm vaccinated. So for all of us, yes, let's continue with TNVR, get these cats vaccinated. It protects them, no babies, and it also protects the public as well from some things that cats can spread. What questions do you have while she hands those out? No babies, no rabies. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I
Thank you.
said when we first started.
I love it.
about this. No babies, no rabies.
There's an extra one there, so.
And so you guys all know the Columbia Cat or the Columbia Animal Shelter, we do all low-cost spay, neuter, dental, wellness clinic. Come see us.
So does everyone have a packet now? Okay.
2.
Oh, no, here. Yep, we're good.
You're good? Okay.
Oh, sorry. That's all right.
Eric?
Here's another one. You can get one.
We almost worked them all.
Come on.
No, I thought they were giving one apiece. What did you get?
So thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I really do appreciate your time and your interest. But I'm hoping that we can make the point of how important this is. Dr. Ricky covered the essential health aspect of this. So if I were sitting in your seat, I would be asking me, what did we get for our money? We gave you money last year. What did we get for our money? So let's just take a quick review. So we trapped 193 cats last year, and at $50 per cat, that comes out to $9,650. For your $3,000 investment, that's 317% return on that investment. I don't have any investments to return like that, none. So keep that in mind. Of the 176 appointments that we were granted, we actually trapped 193 cats. So that puts us at an efficiency of 110%. We have met and exceeded the expectations of this program in every possible way. We are so much in the forefront of what's going on in the CCAT world, or I should say in the TNR world, that boroughs are coming to us, asking us, how are you doing your program? It's successful. What are you doing? We want to do it too. So keep that in mind. This year, we hit 500 cats since the inception of the program. At this time, it was 2.5 years ago. In July, 500 cats. That's a lot of cats.
That is a lot of cats.
So now, as we're going forward into 2026, usually Alan is the individual who's speaking to you, but Alan is stepping away from CCAT this year. At the end of the year, he's not going to be involved with CCAT. He's moved to a different location, and 2 individuals will now be running CCAT. We will be co-chairs, Evan Himes and myself. I'm currently the individual who does the scheduling, and I will continue to do the scheduling. Our goal for this year is 225 cats and 50 kittens, and we're going to add 2 trappers so we can do it more efficiently, faster, and better. Based on that information, we're asking for $4,800 this year. Keep in mind when you're thinking of that number, how successful this program has been and how important it is for the constituents of your community. When we go and we speak to them, they are grateful. They want to help. They say, what can we do to help you? They want us there, and we want to be there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
and on the last sheet, if you have any questions, this is the way you can contact me. I have my cell phone number. I work at the Watch and Clock Museum. You can stop in and ask me any question anytime, and also an email. I'd love to hear from you.
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, I'm sorry, you have a question?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was part of the genesis of CCAT
Oh,
way back when. And I think during the presentation that we gave, I think the magic number for our borough was TNR 750 cats at that time,
You're
right?
correct.
So,
It's an estimate of 1,000.
You know, with your, 75% of 1,000, right?
Right.
And with your goal of 225 and 50 kittens for the year, that gets us to that number. Now, obviously, there's attrition,
Right.
but hitting that number is kind of like a really awesome high watermark for CCAT, It's only going to get better from there, getting ahead of that curve. So
Once you hit that 70% mark, then you see a definite decline. And we are already starting to see that decline. We have people that we have trapped for, and I go back to them every once in a while and they say, how are your cats doing? Any new cats? They say, no, and not only that, I didn't have any litters of kittens this summer. Last year, I had 3 litters of kittens. We're seeing that.
well, good
We are
work.
seeing those
Good work.
people
It's
who are not, it is working. That's all I can say. It's working. Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
I just wanted, all the cats to return to where they're found, or do any of them stay in the shelter, or do any of them get adopted while they're there?
So there is there's a magic formula that the shelter uses. If the cat can be handled by a young child, then they will consider it for adoption. Because that's mostly the people who come in if they have young children. And if you think about it, they don't want to be grabbing a cat that's going to scratch and bite. So if it's not something that is really handleable, then it's returned to its location. You're welcome. Any other questions?
The ask last year was 3,000, right?
No,
What was the ask last year?
the ask last year was like
The ask last,
8,000.
the ask last year was 5,000 and we received 3,000.
I think initially though, Alan asked for a lot more than that. It was like 8,000 or 8,500.
When we first started, we had the purchase of traps that were required and the purchase of substantial amount of food and blankets and things like that to get us up and started. So that's why the initial ask started out higher and then we came down lower.
Yeah, can you make sure you speak into the mic because we're getting,
Yeah, we
we have
can't
to
hear
pull
you.
it down.
Oh,
The mic
I'm
is,
sorry.
yeah, there you go.
Are there any other questions?
I was just wondering, for the $50 figure, does that come from, like, is there a formula for that, or is that just kind of an estimate?
That's generally the overall consideration of what TNR groups pay to different locations. That covers spay and neutering, that covers rabies shots, that covers leptospirosis, not leptos, fetal and leukemia, I believe. And they do like an eye check and an ear check, and they make sure that when they put them back out, they're good to go, that they are in their best possible health for a feral cat.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I had one question.
Yes.
With the increase in budget, you were talking about having, how other groups would come to you for help, and like advice for how to do their program. Has there been any kind of like formal training of other organizations in that way from CCAT, or is that something that like could be on the menu if you got the full funding, like assisting other organizations with getting their organization sort of started or moving in the right direction?
I think it possibly could, we haven't discussed
could
that,
Marietta Page
but
train.
we were very instrumental in getting the information to MCAT, which is now the Marietta Group.
Okay.
We provide them with all of our documents as to what we needed to know to educate ourselves on cats. Like they have to be at a 72-degree temperature once they come out of surgery, and we needed to be able to have a facility that would sustain that. So we shared that kind of information with them. We gave them our spreadsheets. We were even instrumental in helping them develop a website so they can take donations online. So we've been very, very hand in hand with that particular group. And I think we could take that to other groups as well.
Okay, thank you.
When you're doing the TNR, is that done through other programs or is any of that done at the animal shelter? Like, are you going to like York or Lancaster?
So we primarily use the Columbia shelter, but we do also use a facility called Helping Hands in Lancaster.
Mhm.
They are very, very efficient. They cover a lot of territory in the Columbia or the Lancaster area, and we use them to cover that extra 10% where we have trapped more than our appointments. The Columbia shelter is very, very generous if we overtrap. They are very generous. But there are just some times whenever they're maxed out and we need more. We just need more.
The intent of this program, when it was started, was that it would be self-funding after that there would be fundraising and so forth, and the burden for Columbia would be reduced. Is there any fundraising happening?
There is.
There is?
There is, and we actively ask for donations when we're done trapping. I follow up with everyone and I say, if you're happy with the service that you got, please consider a donation, and you can go to our website and donate that way. But in addition to that, please remember to vote for the people who are helping you get this program through. So I'm very, very grateful for the money that we're getting, and I want to make sure that your constituents know that you are behind this. You're helping them. We're helping them, but you're helping them. And in return, it has just been a marvelous program where everybody has pitched in.
Are there any other questions, comments, concerns, anything? All right.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, everyone. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Next, Columbia Public Library.
If you don't know my name, I am Steve Shirk. I am a member of the Board of Directors at the Columbia Public Library, and I'm here tonight representing the library at this meeting. If you were to ask me to give a summary of the year 2025 at the Columbia Public Library, keeping in mind that we are a library, I would suggest that you open up the book by Charles Dickens, A Tale of Two Cities, and read the first line. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. And that would just about sum it up for our year 2025. We still offer all the services that we did in the past. We are still family friendly. We still have many programs that we present every week and month for during the year for the community. We continually get in new books and items such as STEM kits and puzzles and any other things that the patrons tell us that they would like to see us have to be available for them to use. We keep doing that, and those costs have been going up. We had a fantastic summer, and by that I mean June, July, and August. And I would actually go one step higher and say it wasn't fantastic. It was great. More than 2,850 people attended our summer reading program, which we almost had to cancel, but I'll get into that in a couple minutes. Because of the large attendance at many of the programs throughout the year, not just in the summer, we have to hold our programs now, a lot of our programs now, at the Columbia Crossing River Trail Center or at St. John's Church. We have to date circulated, and this is just until the end of September, we have circulated 7,100 materials, and that is an increase of 9,600 items from the same time period in 2024. And by materials, what I'm saying is what the patrons come in and take out: books, magazines, STEM kits, and puzzles, any other thing that is there for them to, I call it borrow, and take out. Our programs go from age 1 month to 5 years, and they have become so popular that we have had to increase our class offerings. We now have 2 preschool classes, a pre-K PALS class, Tiny Tots, Tiny Tales. Computer literacy classes are available to the community free of charge through April 2026, and this is in a partnership with a grant through Millersville University. And I would suggest any of you, if you have a problem with a computer or a question, that you would stop in and ask the young lady, because I myself 2 months ago had to take advantage of this. My computer was screwed up at home and I could not figure out what I did. And I went in and spoke to her, and not only did she explain it to me and show me, but she knew I would screw it up when I got home. So she wrote out the list of what I had to do and followed step by step. So that's a good program that we have been offering, but it's not used as much as I would like to see it used. So if you have a question and it's about a computer, stop in and see her, and I'm sure she'll be able to help you. I will stop at this and just say that your library offers a variety of services and educational, family-friendly events for all ages, open to everyone to participate in. We engage with the community through community events, including Fourth Fridays, and again with the Halloween parade in a couple of weeks. We have hosted 2 adult book fairs, which has brought in over 300 shoppers from all over Lancaster County. We are working with Park Elementary to feature authors, and in that month that we talk about the certain author, we will talk about who they are, where they were born, how they started to write, and what their books are about. Then we will read in the classrooms to them the books of this certain author. And we plan trips with each and every class of the school to visit the library at some time during the year and to be shown around the library so they know what we have and what is available for them if they come in. We offer services including faxing, laminating, digital printing, scan to email, photocopies. We have a meeting room that is there for the community groups, clubs, families to meet in and to have events in if they would need a place to do that. And now I'm going to go back to the summer because, as I told you, I thought it was a fantastic summer. In 3 months, we had 3,498 people attend 117 summer programs. 117 summer programs in 3 months. That's, when you think about that, that's pretty impressive. We handed out 577 take and make craft projects to the children to take home and make. And then if they bring it back into the library and show us the finished product, they get a book. We gave out 605 puzzles over the summer. We just started this program with jigsaw puzzles. The puzzles are all sizes, all shapes, and they're all skill levels from age 1 through 91. And we gave out 605 of those over the summer month. We added 151 new patrons. We had 45 patrons give donations of money or books to the library. And we had 2,351 logins for wireless and public PCs. The library deeply appreciates your past financial support and the recognition of the work that we do at the Columbia Library. CPL, I like to think, is unique in the scheme of Lancaster County Library system. We punch above our weight every day with limited resources. I am proud of our staff who work very hard, and they get to know our patrons extremely well, many of them by first names. And they do this with the patrons that are 1 year old up to the old people, the old timers like me who like to just go in every now and then and walk around and probably get in their way just to see what's going on and what's there at the library that might be new. I would tell you that you could view the Columbia Public Library as one of your flagship entry points for the Borough of Columbia. The Lancaster County Library System Board of Directors has asked us to host the November 20th meeting at our library. We're very excited about this. That's something that, let me try to explain this to you. The Lancaster County Library System generally has all their meetings at 1 of 2 places, either Manheim Township or Lancaster City. To ask a small library like Columbia if they could come up here for a November regular meeting and host it from our library we're pretty excited about that because that just doesn't happen too often.
Steve, I don't mean to interrupt, but we've gone 7 minutes now for the presentation, so I have some questions. What is the library budget for next year?
Okay. Can I go on with just a little bit of what because I'm going to explain the worst of it. Okay, let me skip down to here. As stated, we deeply appreciate your financial support of $15,000 for this past year. This year, our budget exceeded $200,000 for the first time ever. And when we figured out the budget, we subtracted what we were going to get from the state, from Lancaster County, and from Columbia Borough. And that left us with about $90,000 to make up just to meet the budget. But then the county commissioners threw a wrench in that and cut everything by 17%. So that was another huge amount that we had to make up that we weren't counting on. Everything has gone up this year for us. Insurance costs, elevators breaking down, air conditioners breaking down, and we dug ourselves into, unfortunately, a big financial hole. We got together and we came up with some ideas for the summer program, like I told you about. When we got to May, we thought we were going to have to cancel that because we just didn't have the money for it. But we sent out a letter to all the clubs in Columbia and a few of the businesses. And not only did we get enough money to have the summer program, we got enough money that we actually added 10 more programs to what we had. So we've been working to try to come up with the money, but we're still going to fall. At this point, it looks as though we are going to, until the end of the year, we are going to fall about $80,000 short of just meeting the budget. Now, what I can tell you is that at the end of the year, all the bills will be paid and it'll look like we met the budget, but what's happening is we're liquidating funds just about every other month from our rainy day fund, which we have accumulated over the years to fall back on such as times as this. But we never had to use $80,000 in one year. And we're being told by our financial secretary and our treasurer that if we go at this rate for 5 more years, the rainy day fund's not going to be there anymore. And I would draw your attention, what I want to draw your attention to is that the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, we were just told last month by the Lancaster County Library System, came up with a recommendation that contributions for Pennsylvania libraries from all cities, boroughs, and townships should be $5 per person per year. Now, I used just a figure of 10,000 people in Columbia. If you went by that and you were to match what the Commonwealth's saying you should, that would be $50,000. I am not here tonight to ask you for $50,000. What I am asking you is, you gave us $15,000 last year. That would break down with a 10,000 person population to $1.50 per person. So I'm asking you to at least match that again this year. And I'm asking you to maybe dig a little bit deeper in your pockets and go to $2 per person for $20,000. And I can assure you that whatever you decide to give us, we will appreciate it. And we will take it and we will continue to do the work that we've been doing up to this point. And if we keep falling in these holes, we'll just keep doing what we've been doing this year. And we will do it until we cannot do it anymore. And that would be my request on behalf of the library this year, that we appreciate what you've done, but I'm asking you if you could jump up to $2 a person, which is still way below what the Commonwealth deems that everyone should be trying to match, and give us or donate to us $20,000.
Well, let's be honest, Steve, the Commonwealth should fully fund their libraries.
I agree. And what I would tell you and I'm getting off subject here a little bit, number one, if you ever get a chance to talk to the Lancaster County Commissioners, try to talk some sense into them and get the 17,000 or the 17% added back on, so that their contribution is now would again go back to where it was 2 years ago. And the Lancaster County Library System is not done with, I know I talked to you a couple of years ago that there might possibly be a library tax that would be put on the ballot for people to vote on. Other counties in Pennsylvania already have it. Lancaster County doesn't. I think you will see that being, because we're not the only library that's in this situation. I think you'll be seeing that being brought back up, and I would suggest that when it does come up again, that you would get in touch with the commissioners and say that you support that. If that tax was in place, I would not have to come here and ask you for this.
Can I ask if you get any donations from the school district?
Pardon?
Can I ask if you get any donations from the school district?
No.
Thank you.
And do you get any donations from neighboring communities? Last year, I had heard there was there were some that were going to
Last year, I went out personally for the library. I got a hold of 3 boroughs and 2 townships and asked if I could come meet with them and talk about getting money for the library. Because let's face it, more than Columbia residents are coming to the library. The staff up at the library is telling me that West Enfield Township is probably making up about 40% of the patrons right now that we're seeing coming in. One of those boroughs never got back to me at all. Two of them got back and said, don't bother to come because we're not going to give Columbia anything. The only people that opened their doors and said, come talk to us were you and West Enfield Township. I went out to West Enfield Township. I gave a presentation. And on top of the $30,000 that they give to the Mountville Library, they did generously grant Columbia $2,000. I have not heard back from them if we're invited back this year.
That's what networking door does. All right. Anyone else have any questions?
What's the best way to get in touch with you for any additional questions?
Pardon?
What's the best way to get in touch with you for any additional
You
questions?
don't have to really get in touch with me. What I would suggest, if you have any questions about the library, you have a person up at the library, the administrator, Heather Peters-Berry. She is fantastic. She works from morning to night, 5 days a week. She knows everything. Just walk into the library and say, can I speak to Heather?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Make sure you do.
All right.
Jesse,
I was trying to ask a question.
Oh.
Sorry. Can I just ask you one more question?
Yeah.
As far as fundraising goes, are you guys looking at doing any bigger events in town here? Maybe at the park here, for people to come and give donations?
We have been talking about fundraising. We've had, I'd say, probably 4 or 5 book sales this year. Book sales are great, don't get me wrong, but if you're not selling the book for under $1, you're not going to sell many books. And so you have to sell a lot of books to make that kind of money. But we do that. Last year, we also put a Christmas tree up in the lobby and left it up, and we put papers from the branches with wishes that the library would like, but that we couldn't afford. 75% of that tree was empty in a matter of about a month from patrons that took the wishes off and got them for us and donated them to the library. Everybody has a golf outing, so that's out. We had 3 art auctions. The first 2 made a ton of money. The second or the third one, we lost money. So it's, you come up with a good money-making fundraiser, please share it with us, and we will do our best to try to do something with it.
Thanks. All right. Coach Herman, or I'm sorry, Mr. Herman.
I answered that, yes.
Coach Herman for the Columbia United Veterans Council.
Good evening, thank you. My name is Bob Herman, and I'm here in lieu of Kevin Kraft. Kevin and I represent the Columbia United Veterans Council. Kevin is at a mortician's seminar. How exciting that can be, I don't know. But that's where he's at, and that's why he asked me to come this evening. So we're here to ask for your annual $1,000 that the borough does graciously give for us to have our Memorial Day Parade. And of course, as you all know, the Memorial Day Parade has been a constant here in Columbia since the end of World War II. And the $1,000 that you give, again, we appreciate that helps go towards paying bands that we have come in to participate in the parade, and then any prizes that we would deem to give. So again, we appreciate the $1,000, and Kevin asked me to come this evening, again, to ask for your help in that same amount for this coming year. Any questions?
One thing I did want to mention while I have you here, we've been talking with Lancaster City. They're doing a water main project, and it looks like they're going to go right up Manor Street at some point next year. During those discussions, I had suggested with Chief Brommer that we may want to think about an alternate parade route. So definitely be on the lookout for that conversation if that needs to happen.
We've already had that
Awesome.
brainstorming idea.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we heard about that, and we already are starting to brainstorm that.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew about that.
Got it.
Yes.
Anything else?
Bob,
Yes, sir.
I'm curious as to why you only asked for $1,000.
That's what Kevin told me to ask for. We have money.
Kevin told you to jump off the bridge, would you?
Yeah. We do have a bank account, and Kevin is the treasurer for that. And again, so apparently this, pardon me?
Tim, I believe
Yeah.
it used to be
Yeah, it seems-
$500.
It seems to be a little
Yeah.
weaker every year, but because the band's not participating.
Right. So
Is
the,
it a money issue with the bands, or?
no, the $1,000 just keeps us afloat. Just keeps what we have and enough to sustain the parade that we do have.
So you tell Kevin you made a mistake and you asked for $2.
I think the
We
last
do what
time,
I'm told.
Tim, the last time that they were here, they talked about the bands and that the whole COVID thing kind of put a wrench in that. And bands didn't come like
Right.
that whole COVID thing. And so now they're just building up the momentum once again.
Yeah. And schools, their bands don't want to participate.
Yeah, because of the time of year, it's in May, school's out, and our parade is typically, well, no, it's on a Sunday. Other communities have theirs on a Saturday, and it's tough to get people to commit Saturday and Sunday. So there's things obstacles that we're facing, that we're constantly trying to overcome. Yeah, you go away.
Prior to last year, we had typically given $500. Last year, we increased it to $1,000.
All right.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Nothing? All right. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Next, Mount Bethel Cemetery. I think I saw Jean. I know. Well, oh, wait.
Are they
Did I?
not here?
Oh, yeah, they are. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jane. Next is the fire department. I put this one on here because I misunderstood the email that I received. So I just wanted to remind everyone, we had heard from the fire department back in July. We heard their ask. Their ask is $300,000. The $300,000 contribution, and also, that is because the new fire truck and so forth. I don't know if anyone had any other questions, but we had told them that we would not be making any commitments until we were in budget discussions. So, are there any other questions?
Did you have anything more to say?
No, I wouldn't say anything's new. The ask is the same. We, just like everybody else, it's a lot harder to bring revenue in and prices are going up. We hope that with these funds, we can maintain our fleet and make sure that we have adequate life-saving equipment showing up at your door. Today, I actually watched the entire YouTube presentation of the Senate hearing on this matter with the prices of fire trucks. And I think it was good for awareness. I don't expect to see any action. So I don't think anything's going to change there. And, we really hope that the borough can support us in this and that we can continue to provide the level of service that we do.
Jared,
But I can answer any question.
just for, so I can remember, and maybe some others too. Can you talk about, okay, you're asking for 300,000. The timeline, when do you expect to order the truck? When do you expect to pay for the truck? Those kind of things. Because they will, to me, they have a bearing on how the funding goes.
Yeah, so a little refresh on finances. We have a $600,000 break-even budget. We acquire a majority of that money through fundraising. The borough donation is currently at $111,000, and with the purchase of the new fire truck, our budget will go up to right around $800,000 for 4 years. But we expect to have our engine and rescue paid off in 2029. The purchase price of the ladder truck is $2.2 million. If we were to be able to start payments early, that number could drop down to as low as $1.8 million due to if we could pay in full. If we cannot pay in full, they will give us the interest on any monies that we pay before the ladder truck arrives in 2029. And there are some discounts in there as well, depending on how much we can put into it before it arrives. We do not have to pay a dime on this fire truck until 2029 when it arrives. The only issue with that is that it's a 15-year repayment at about $200,000 a year. If we wait until 2029, then we are paying on that ladder truck till 2044. And we will be looking to replace at least one, if not two, fire trucks by 2039. So anything that we can do to be proactive will put us in a much better position in the future, so that way we're not saddled with multiple truck payments at the same time.
You answered my question, and it's kind of a different way than my thought was, but if the borough was to allocate funds for this truck or to the fire company, and you were to start paying it down, then you would be amortizing some of that interest and getting a break. So, and that's what I was looking for. How can we help you, but in the same time, make some extra money or reduce the cost to you? And I think you did a good job answering that. And that's kind of what I was after, what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, I mean, the largest cost savings would be to purchase outright
absolutely.
now. That would be, it's a little less than $300,000. But if we were to secure any type of funding from the borough, we would get a loan for the purchase price of the vehicle at the lesser amount, and then start our payments next year.
I had a question. I know former Chief Rhino was in here a couple weeks ago talking about the local share account application for the building project. And one of the questions I had, and I'll ask you too, is just
I watched it.
what are your considerations? Because if that could somehow be incorporated in to ask for $1 million, like say next year, which that would be like if you applied for $1 million towards the truck next year, then you would only find out in September of 2027,
right?
If you got it. But if you would get that, and from what I hear, they like to fund equipment, but it's also no one really knows if that formula is going to change either.
Right.
But if you could get $1 million through the LSA, that would be fantastic.
Yes. So there were a couple considerations with the LSA grant, and Scott pointed out pretty well that a lot of the grants that we already are applying for like to fund some sort of portable equipment. The AFG grant, which is national or the federal grant, they will fund fire trucks. The reason that we went with the LSA grant for the bingo hall renovation is because there are very few grants out there that allocate money for those types of projects. Now, having said all that, the problem with the grant world is that you never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you might get a handful of grants, sometimes you might get one. And I think it was a more strategy than anything to try to put in for this LSA grant for the bingo hall and then see how that project goes. The other consideration with putting in an LSA grant for the ladder truck would be that we can't start paying on that project. So if we were to apply for it in 2026, this is 25, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
If we were applied for it in 26, not find out till 27, then in those couple years, we wouldn't be able to put any sort of monies down or towards payments to get any sort of substantial discount. So we're our discussions and the risk reward, we thought that it would be best that we go this route.
Now, if you would say start paying down on it and get a loan out for it and basically pay for the truck, will the LSA reimburse?
No, the LSA is null.
So you can't apply, but you haven't received the truck yet.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
You started paying on the project.
Gotcha.
Just like in the bingo hall, we can't start, ripping up the floors.
Yeah.
Because they won't refund it.
Gotcha.
Once you can't start the project until you receive the funds.
Yep. Understood.
So I'm going to ask a firefighter question. My understanding is it's a tiller.
It's a tractor drawn aerial, also known as a tiller.
And is there a cost difference between a tiller and a straight?
So there are multiple types of ladder trucks. The main three are what we have in town now, which is just a straight stick.
Right.
Right. Mostly rear mount, don't have a platform. The second type is a platform. Most of them have been designed as a mid mount, and then the platform sticks out the back. And then the third type is the tractor drawn aerial, which is what we have spec'd. It is a straight stick mid mount, but it requires two operators, one in the front, one in the back.
Right.
I don't know if you've ever seen Seinfeld, but Kramer's in the back.
Oh, I totally understand it. And I'm a fan of the tiller. I just don't.
But to get back to your point, there are price differences. The straight stick is typically the cheapest route.
Right.
The tiller truck is in the middle, and then the tower is the most expensive.
Oh, okay,
So the tower, if we would have spec'd the tower, it would have been close to $2.5 million.
Because my concern is volunteerism's dropping off. And now you're buying a piece of equipment that's gonna require 2 drivers instead of 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's a consideration that we have. The good thing is that they're saying that we need 2 drivers is essentially true, but the person in the front is the driver. The person in the back is just doing collision avoidance. And we really are striving for all of our qualified people that will get on the ladder truck will be able to be in the back and tiller the vehicle. It's not as hard as you think. And I don't know if you remember a couple months ago, this might have been a year ago at this point, we had a tiller truck in town. It was very loud. It was privately owned. Guy that lived over in Hanover. He was a career guy in Baltimore City. Grew up in Boston. And when I was the tillerman, I didn't turn the wheel once because he knew how to drive that vehicle. We do think that the benefits of the tiller exceed any sort of limitations. We really got it for the tight streets, the tight turns, and the route of travel that we took when he was here really showed, because we had our ladder truck follow him, it really showed what it's capable of doing. Like turning on 7th Street into Susquehanna Glass,
Right.
Not a problem with the tiller. That ladder truck went back and forth 6 times, never made the turn.
Yeah.
The same with Maple Park. Ladder truck couldn't get in there. Even we just went up to Devonshire at the roundabout. Tiller went 1 time, ladder truck, 3-point turn. So if any place in Lancaster County needs a tiller, it's Columbia Borough, maybe Lancaster City. But we feel really confident with the decision that we made.
And the second comment I would say to the council is I would like to keep this separate. The fireman's donation every year versus the truck payment. Instead of trying to wrap it into one, I'd like to keep it separate. Only because I think it's better to budget that way. And this year, if it goes from 1,100 to 111 to 300, the next year it could go to 450.
So I don't know what the future holds, just like you.
I know.
But the intention is not to come in and ask for more for 27. I feel confident with this amount. Now, to say in 5 years it's not going to change, I doubt that to be true.
But I guess my point is to you, Jared. Are you still asking for the 111 for this coming year and the additional 200 for the truck?
So in 25, I'm asking for the 111 that was agreed upon.
Well, no,
in 26, that payment has not been received yet. In 26,
hold on a second. That payment has been received yet?
Not to my knowledge, unless it happened in the last two weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because we signed the check at our last.
Okay.
I was going to say.
It hasn't been reported at a meeting. I'll say that.
Yeah, we just signed the check 2 weeks ago.
But in 26, the ask is for 300 flat.
And that may or may not go toward the truck.
No, absolutely. It will. It absolutely will.
And that's my thing. I think if we just do a truck fund period, we could probably work it slightly different. I don't know the laws 100%. But,
I agree. I think it should be separated, because then there's a clear delineation between where the money is being spent as also for future budgets. As we get into the future, we can see that, it wasn't $300,000 a few years ago. It was specifically an increase for that truck.
Yeah, but my ask is so that we can have the borough effectively take over apparatus payments from now for the foreseeable future. We're currently paying $110,000 on apparatus now. So if we were to get $300,000, all that money would go towards apparatus. And then once the engine and rescue are paid off in 29, my hope is that we can start banking that $100,000, so that way when we go to replace a truck in 39, we have $1 million ready to go.
all right, now I'm totally confused.
Yeah.
That was my presentation in July.
So you're saying the current 110 that has been in effect has been towards apparatus already?
I mean, effectively, it goes into our budget, and that's what we pay out.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's not earmarked that now, but I mean, it's
so
the same.
it's effectively no different. It's just adding apparatus.
Well,
to it.
no, it is different. You're asking for 300 to cover both engines that you're paying for now.
I'm asking for a $189,000 increase so that I can start paying on a ladder truck. And the 111 remains as a contribution that we've been received already. So 300 total, no matter how you slice it.
So-
But that money will not be going towards renovations or fuel. That'll be going towards apparatus.
And repeat again, Gary, after that's paid off,
2029.
and then what?
And then my intention was that we could start banking some of that money, and or if it suits better, we pay extra every year on the ladder truck, so that way we can pay it off sooner, and then we have money we can start saving.
So it wouldn't go back. It wouldn't go back to 100 and some. It would stay at 300.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say it would stay.
That's what I understood.
Yep. Are there any other questions?
I think it's paramount that this council, seated now, should do everything they can to support the fire company financially. There is no price tag on public safety, but unfortunately in this economy there is. I think they should look for ways to support the fire company before eventually we become a paid fire company down the road. Would you think that's reasonable?
So I will say, when I joined the fire department in 2000, there was one paid department in Lancaster County, and that was Lancaster City. In those 25 years, East Hempfield has started paying firemen. Manheim Township is a fully paid department. And other municipalities are starting to trend that way. A lot of them start with regionalization, and then when they still can't get the manpower, the staffing, then it goes into paid department. York area, Springett's, Spring Garden, Manchester, they've had Yoffer for a couple years, and they have some issues with staffing because the municipalities cannot agree. And when you start talking about life safety and keeping your citizens happy and healthy with fire trucks that arrive, I really hope that we can maintain this volunteer organization as long as possible. It's just that with the current funding and the price of apparatus, the model is unsustainable.
Columbia is one of the busiest fire departments in the county, correct?
We are probably the second busiest all volunteer department.
So let me ask you this, just to follow up just a quick comment from you. Companies like Mountville, Marietta, Wrightsville, Maytown, how does their community, their government treat them financially?
I cannot speak to how they're funded. I do know that Wrightsville is funded by Wrightsville Borough and Helm Township. I know that Mountville and West Hempfield, they're currently in talks of doing some sort of merger or acquisition, something. And that will majority be funded by West Hempfield. Most of these places still do fundraisers, but I don't see many of them doing fundraisers at the level that we do. We also, as I spoke in July, we have the Hambone Social Club that donated $140,000 to us the last couple of years. We've tried to take care of ourselves. We've been set up financially by people like Albert Schmidt, who really made sure that we were able to sustain. And the hope is that we can continue that legacy and make sure that we have the proper apparatus and equipment. I believe Mountjoy Borough or Mountjoy Fire Department, I think they're funded by 5 different municipalities.
I like the fact that you had told me that your company's very transparent with your books.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to look at them, council, anybody, I think that's pretty awesome. I know everybody thinks of Susquehanna Fire Company as one of the richest around. They got billions of dollars, but from our conversation, they don't. And apparatus isn't cheap. Training isn't cheap. Training isn't cheap. The cost is going up, and we've got to find a way to support public safety.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to touch on one thing, and we've spoke about this before, but it is a common misconception that the fire department has a ton of money because of the club. The club has supported us through all these years, and without their support, we would not be in the position that we're in now. The club is very based on the economy and what people are willing to spend. We don't make much money off of alcohol sales. We're really dependent on people gambling, and people don't gamble when things are tight at home. So it's been an eye-opening experience for me. We're not going to shut our doors tomorrow, but we do really need the support so that way we continue the level of service that we're providing.
I know that I can sleep soundly knowing that you guys are out there waiting to help or on call to help any one of us that live in this borough. I follow your page. I see all kinds of training that you guys promote. I see your calls. It's amazing. I'm glad there are people out there that do that. My hat's off to you guys, all of you, every one of you, from fire police that direct traffic to the guys running in the burning buildings and saving people. It goes without saying that you guys are amazing, just like our police department. With the influx of money that you're looking at investing in the trucks and the apparatus, are you planning to increase your fundraising for the next couple of years as well and other events that may come up?
So we are looking for multiple ways on how to do different types of fundraising. We just had a successful golf outing. That's our second year that we did that. We've started with some different bingos. We have a kitchen that's open to the public, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. You know, we have, as soon as I took this position, I wanted to find another stream of revenue. And in the nonprofit public sector that we're in, it's very difficult. We've had conversations about doing a mailer, asking for people for money, asking businesses and clubs. We also are getting more involved with the other clubs in town and seeing if they can support us as well. Clubs that have events like the Lions Club has the car show, things like that. This is a selfless plug, but we're going to have the bust, which is reminiscent of the bridge bust at Gladfelder's, October 25th. That is being held by the Shank Shops, but we are a beneficiary of that event. The better it goes, the better we do. So we've been trying to look at other avenues. The issue is with the amount of money that's being required for these purchases and the time that it takes to either create or set up these different types of fundraisers. It's a lot. And adding that on top of, you know, we got to train, we got to run calls, we got meetings just like everybody else, you know. It is a lot. So we're trying to do the best that we can with what we have. And the hope is that the borough can continue to support us and increase the funds for next year.
Again, thank you for your time and thank you for all your service to you and your entire team.
Thank you.
And Jared, look for my email probably tomorrow evening with the LSA resolution, just so you can verify that it's right.
Yep, for sure.
Any other questions? No?
Thanks for the rehash.
All right, thanks, Jared.
Thank you.
All right, and Jane, now you're up. And you're gonna have to pull that microphone way down.
I'm a teacher, I'll be fine. I'm just gonna pass out, I don't have a brochure for everybody, but I do have, our current brochures for Mount Bethel Cemetery. Well, I'm not a teacher anymore, but I was a teacher here in Columbia Park.
We do need them.
Hi, my name is
Mic
Jane
down.
Moore, and
Yeah,
I'm
Put the
Jane,
mic down.
pull the mic down, because
Hear
otherwise
the whole
we can't,
thing.
yeah, we can't hear you online.
The whole, there you go.
online.
Yeah.
Good job.
My name is Jane Moore. I'm here representing Mount Bethel Cemetery. We are very appreciative in your past donations, and they really come in handy. Our biggest expense that we have at the cemetery is mowing the grass. This year was pretty rough. We spend anywhere between $10,000 to $14,000 a year just in mowing the grass. And we are nonprofit, so when we and we had burials are the only way that we make any money, and also asking the community members when we send out our newsletter, we ask for donations for that. So our funds are very limited. As far as our, income is very limited, but we do have quite a few expenses. We also had some sinkholes that we had to repair this year. Fortunately, we didn't need to have any trees cut down or any fence repairs. That happens a lot also. And I don't know what else to tell you. At one point, the cemetery was not taken care of, and a board a group of gentlemen got together and started a new nonprofit cemetery board of directors, and it's all on a volunteer basis. We do have small income for trusts, and we do quite a bit of fundraising throughout the year at the cemetery. So Kevin Kraft was supposed to be here tonight. He's
No, that's okay.
So I wasn't really prepared. I didn't know what all you wanted me to discuss, but I'm here for any questions that you have for me.
Are you asking for a certain amount for next year, or
I think we just want to have the same amount that was,
same amount?
yes,
How much
or
is that?
more,
5,000.
whatever would be wonderful.
How much was the amount just over?
5,000.
Do you want to plug your event for this weekend?
Oh, yeah, the
Right.
Friends of Mount Bethel Cemetery, the Mount Bethel Cemetery is a 501c13. And the Friends of Mount Bethel is a 501c3, where we can actually have fundraisers. And this weekend we have, it's called 6 Feet Under. It is a macabre market. The one that we had the same time as the car show this year, we had over 700 people came to the event. And this year we have 41 vendors that are going to be in the cemetery. We also have, I think, 5 hearses that are going to be in the cemetery. There's no admission, but the vendors do pay a vendor's fee. And the Columbia Curiosities is the shop that coordinates that, and they take all the vendors' fees and donate them to the cemetery. They've been a wonderful, wonderful help to the cemetery. And then we also have, coming up in December, we have the Wreaths Across America. We have over 680 veterans in the cemetery from this Revolutionary War up to and including the Vietnam War. Over 400 Civil War veterans. The bridge burners are buried in the cemetery. It's a very historical place, and we're just trying to keep it in good shape.
Any questions for Mount Bethel? No.
It's a pretty neat fundraiser if you're looking for some really cool Halloween stuff.
What's that?
Yep.
It'll be a good, your fundraising event this weekend would be good for you.
Yeah, I
Anyone
think
looking for some interesting Halloween.
it's going to be
things to
very
put around.
interesting things. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.
I kept under the 5 minutes.
Yep. All right. Woo! All right. And next, we have a new request from the Stephen Smith Foundation.
While they are coming, I would like to say that I invited them to come tonight because I think I support them. I think they provide a needed service to a particular, for a large segment of our community. And I'm sure they'll tell you all about it. And I just welcome an opportunity for us to be able to give to this important service to our community.
Greetings to each of you. First, I just want to thank you for giving us this space on your agenda to share with you why we need your support. For those who don't know, I am Reverend Dr. Patricia S. McAllister, pastor of Mount Zion AME Church here in Columbia. And in 1817, Mount Zion AME Church had its beginnings as a result of emancipated enslaved persons coming from Virginia and settling in Columbia. The first church building for Mount Zion was built on Avenue N between 2nd and 3rd Streets. The Reverend Stephen Smith, who operated a successful lumber business in Columbia, was one of the wealthiest men in his generation. In 1832, he purchased the second location, which was located at Alley J and Church Alley. In 1849, they moved to their third location, which was sad to say, destroyed by fire. In 1862, the Borough of Columbia allowed the congregation to use the brick building at the southwest corner of Fifth Street and Alley Inn, which would be their fourth location. They would worship in that building from 1862 to 1872, while their fifth location directly across Alley Inn at the corner of Fifth Street was being built. Mount Zion used that particular structure to worship Almighty God for 10 years, from 1862 to 1872. In 1872, Mount Zion moved into their new church building. The same year, there was much discussion between Mount Zion AME Church and the Borough of Columbia around whether or not to use this building as a school for colored children. Fast forward, the building was in much need of repair. So after much discussion, the borough decided in 1878 to build a school for colored children. In 1881, the old building was sold and removed from the property, and the foundation for the new building was laid. The school for colored children opened the same year. The school was in operation for 48 years. In 1928, the school closed. The property was sold by the School Board of Columbia to the Colored Recreation Club, and the trustees who made up the board of the Colored Recreation Club were Alex Smith, Mary Johnson, Ada Johnson, Grant Dorsey, Florence Ellis, Emma Cannon, Emily Rudolph, Pauline Smith, Ben Spencer, and Ida Spencer. And I mentioned their names. I know you don't know who they are because some of their descendants still worship at Mount Zion to this day. In 1945, the Colored Recreation Club trustees were the same, except Alex Smith was no longer on the board. They sold the building to the sister of Harvey T. Mako, Ada Johnson, one of the trustees of the Colored Recreation Club. Her vision was to provide a place for Black soldiers to go when they returned home from war. So the brick structure was named the Harvey T. Mako American Legion for African American soldiers. That vision was realized for quite a number of years, as the building was affectionately called the Legion. In 1998, the property, no longer inhabitable, was sold to Mount Zion AME Church, who holds the deeds to the property to this day. The building has been renamed the Stephen Smith Community Development and Multicultural Center, so you can understand the historical significance of the building and why naming it the Stephen Smith Community Development and Multicultural Center is so important to the rich history of Columbia, Pennsylvania. Sister Sakai Gilbert is with me, and she will be the executive director of the Stephen Smith Center, and I'll turn it over to her at this time to share with you our vision and mission for the center. Amen.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Sakaya Gilbert, and I just wanted to share some of the activities that we have hosted at Mount Zion, on the property of Mount Zion AME Church, that we have hosted down the years that will now be held in the Stephen Smith Multicultural Center. So we've done over the years some youth explosions where they have been Friday night, a Saturday afternoon, and a Sunday, where we've invited not only the youth of our community but surrounding communities to participate in activities that we've held on site. And we've had lock-ins where we have had youth from our church and the community, and they'd bring cousins and family members to come, where we would do some activities on a Friday night, and they would spend the night, and we'd do activities all night until we woke them up in the morning and sent them home. We've had some community outreach that we have done where we've gone out and we've knocked on doors around the community, inviting youth to come and to join us. Where we've just introduced ourselves, and we've brought youth from the community into the church. We've done some community block parties with other churches in Columbia. We've had some tutoring online and in person. A lot of that took place during COVID, where our youth were at home learning, but we were able to go on Zooms and different platforms online to be able to assist with their tutoring. We've done holiday meals for the community. Thanksgiving meals have been held. We've partnered with members of the community to do those. Vaccination clinics, which another one will be held in 2 weeks, where we've offered Mount Zion's location for COVID vaccinations, pneumonia vaccinations, flu shots, and such. We have done drug and alcohol seminars where we have partnered with Gaudenzia Drug and Alcohol in Lancaster, where folks have come out and been able to learn about drug abuse and also being able to get like Narcan kits and such. We've done food box giveaways around the holidays and in the summertime during COVID and beyond. There were a lot of people that were in need of food, and so we were able to participate and provide those. We also partner with the summer meal program that happens in Columbia. So that is one of our locations. Many more things. Those were to name a few. And just the vision of the Stephen Smith Community Development Project, we are the bridge to greatness. The vision of the Stephen Smith Community Development and Multicultural Center is to develop confident, career-ready teens to become positive contributors to the community and to the world. The mission of the Stephen Smith Community Development and Multicultural Center is to equip underserved youth with leadership, life skills, and mentorship through weekly workshops and community-based activities. Some examples would be to focus on building academic, career, personal, and creative skills for young people, offering after-school programs such as tutoring, homework assistance, and reading comprehension, technology and STEM with computer labs, STEM labs, SAT prep, skill development, entrepreneurship training, employment readiness, sewing classes, apprenticeship, youth engagement, discussion groups, conflict resolution, substance abuse awareness, creative arts studios, arts and crafts, music development, drama, educational initiatives such as seminars and workshops of the historical significance of the center, as well as family and community support. There will be programs of family support such as parenting classes, baby wellness, diversity training, anti-bullying, group counseling, family counseling, health and wellness, physical education, healthy eating, cooking workshops, food support such as the food distribution I had shared and summer meal programs, transportation services, transporting the youth to and from these programs, which we've also done with our van, community service to collaborate with the school district and the penal system, and a social hub, social activities for youth, and not just youth, but also for seniors. We plan to have senior activities for seniors in our community. This is not just for the youth of Mount Zion and our section of 5th Street. It's for everyone in Columbia and the surrounding communities, youth and seniors alike. How you can support our mission: you can donate. Every dollar makes a difference. You can contribute to help us reach our goal. You can share by spreading the word of our campaign with friends and family and on social media. And your advocacy can amplify our reach. And you can volunteer your skills and times to make a meaningful impact. To give, you can mail checks payable to the Stephen Smith CDMC, which is Community Development Multicultural Center, and you can mail them to our church at 222 South 5th Street, or you can Google search Zeffy, Zeffy, Stephen Smith, CDMC, and they'll give you instructions to give. Thank you. Any questions?
Yes.
Is this Stephen Smith Center going to be held out of the church, or this is an actual center? Where is this?
It's an actual building beside the church. It's at 230 South 5th Street, which was the former school that Pastor had talked about, and the former Harvey T. Makel American Legion. Yes, it does need work.
Yeah, can you
And I'll, go
talk
ahead.
like specific numbers? You said you
Yes.
were trying to reach a specific goal by the end of the year. And
Absolutely.
what
Thank-
was the like ask of the Borough Council's budget for next year, and also like where are you guys at right now for your fundraising?
Thank you, Ethan. So we are requesting tonight $15,000 from the budget. We need to raise our soft costs, which includes funds for advertising, matching funds, architectural fees, and we have so far raised $13,000, and we have been awarded a grant from the Lancaster County Redevelopment Authority. It's a community development block grant of $200,000, excuse me, thank you, $200,000 to secure the building. But we have to raise our soft costs in order to be able to access that grant. And in securing the building, with that grant will secure the windows, the roof, the floors, and the foundation of the building. Again, we're asking for the funds to help us to secure our soft costs. And that's what you had mentioned, where I was sharing before when we had met about what we needed to raise.
You mentioned a lot of great programs.
Thank you.
I'm really excited about this project.
Thank you.
So when you mentioned all your projects and your plans, are you planning to also work with our local organizations like the school, like the Boys and Girls Club,
Yes.
like other clubs throughout our community?
Yes, we are planning to partner with the programs in the community and be able to work with them as well. And so we anticipate the project, well, like I said, we are looking to raise our soft costs so that we can access the grant. We anticipate the project itself to be between $3 and $5 million. And I'm looking at to be about 4 to 5 years to complete the project.
Any questions? None?
Good
All right.
information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and Columbia Historic Preservation Society.
Hello, my name's Peter Green. I'm the recording secretary for the Columbia Historic Preservation Society. I want to thank the Borough for the financial support over the years for our work and activities. These activities include quite a few things, such as simple as historic walking tours, the latest being a group of 20 students and professors that walk from Front Street up to Fifth Street, hosting Albatwitch event every year, hosting our train show in December every year, participating in the Train Collectors Association train fair, which is held twice a year. We get people from as far away as Michigan and Florida to visit. Speaking of our train club, it's currently nominated for a National Lionel Award for Best Display. So we're hopeful to hear that we're a winner in 2 weeks. We have museum exhibits, currently a railroad exhibit in the first floor of the museum. And we have a permanent underground railroad exhibit that's been continuous for 9 years. Next year, we do plan to add an exhibit covering the 300th anniversary of the settlement here. We look forward to that. We're putting a lot of work and effort into digitizing a lot of the Columbia materials records. We've digitized microfilm of the Columbia News and Spy newspapers, created a newspaper database that contains about 200,000 pages, running from 1830 to 1990. And they're made available to the public library last year. And currently, we're digitizing hard copies of newspapers that we have at the museum. And then we're adding them with also outside institutions such as libraries and universities that would happen to have Columbia newspapers. And finally, digitizing our picture collection is being digitized to an archive database. And it's containing all the streets, Chickies Hill, Susquehanna River, many more. And these are also available to the public. We also do a lot of support of Columbia community. Presently, we're digitizing books and maps for the Mount Bethel Cemetery, and we're about halfway done. We're sharing the digitized Columbia newspaper collection with the Columbia Library, and hopefully they'll be bringing that to their facility coming up this year. We maintain the Zion Hill Cemetery. This past year, we added powder-coated metal crosses based on ground-penetrating radar for grave sites, and we reinstalled war veteran headstones. And then we also participate in other organizations' events, such as one coming up, the Halloween House Tour, will be a stop for Create Columbia. In terms of our facility, we continue to try and do maintenance on it. The manse roof was sealed this past year, and right now we're working on replacing the furnace for the museum's second floor. We would hope that the borough would continue our support. We ask for an additional $5,000 that you have provided each year.
And additional to what?
I'm sorry, additional for this year.
So you're asking for just the 5,000 that you typically get, not
we would-
10?
Correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Mhm.
Thank you, Joanne.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions? Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wait, I have a question. So we know that there's gonna be a new, there's an underground railroad museum is being developed across the street. Are you guys gonna be working with them to provide information back and forth, or?
So we have one of our board members is also a board member on that. That's Celeste Leslie. And she and I are part of the information committee on that organization.
Any other questions?
I'm just curious, what is your foot traffic a year in the building? I mean, it doesn't have to be accurate, just estimate.
Foot traffic, number of people? Just the model train or the train show in December,
Yeah, we'll average.
500,
October, we average about 2,200 people within 4 days.
So
Guys come from all over the United States. It's the TCA, Trade Workers of America. They have their national meet in New York at the fairground. After they leave the fairground, they go.
and then the train show drew, I think, around 500 to 600 people, and which we do receive donations from each person that does come.
The only thing we probably have, like a time limit, like 11 o'clock, we gotta figure them guys out.
Jerry.
And I learned being around the train guys, don't ever call them. True. I think we do better next time with a mother than call their train.
Toy.
Oops. Thank you for the tip.
I had
Really quickly.
I had a question then too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
You're
Ethan.
actually on the council.
It's here nor there. On the building where you're at, just curious as far as like maintenance costs, like things that need to be worked on. One of the things I noticed since the chip factory project is now I can see the facade, and it looks like some paint is needed on the outside and the upper reaches of the exterior there to maintain that building. So just curious about the maintenance of that building and how that's going.
Yeah, we requested a quote for the work. You're talking about the cornice area and the steeple. Yes, we requested a quote for that work. We do need to work on getting funding. That always comes down to the issue. And We had a state representative that was going to help us, but Senator Almond moved on, and we're in between working on getting that help again.
What is your yearly budget?
I'll have to get back to you with the exact details, but I'm going to say it's probably around $30,000 for expenses. But don't quote me on that. I was not prepared for that kind of a question.
Too late.
Yeah.
What's that?
Too late.
Too late. We're all
Already
getting 30.
asked.
I'm sorry. you
Just
wanna-
ignore them.
You
Well-
mentioned the Alba Twitch Festival, which
Yes.
has been in our town for several years now. With its moving, will that impact the Historical Society at all?
The Alba Twitch is still being run by the society.
But it's going to be held in Wrightsville, so you'll still benefit from that.
Yes, it's a fundraiser and we'll still benefit.
Great.
Yes.
The Apple Twitch and our train show again of the year. Are two big fundraisers. Last year, Apple Twitch, we made, it's clear, approximately $3,800. The trade show, no, I got it wrong. Apple Twitch was $8,400. Trade show, we clear about $37.
Sorry, there was one other question over there.
Heather asked the question I was gonna ask about the total operating budget. So.
Yeah, and I apologize.
And where does
We had-
the balance of the funding come from then?
We
Donation, fundraising.
have membership and fundraising.
We're actually gonna put money toward, donate money out of our pocket toward the heating system.
So
You said-
Apply for a loan over here, so.
I was gonna just comment again, I keep touting this local share account. But you can, as a separate organization, you could apply for a local share, an LSA grant that's with the state. I think the deadline is like the end of November. Do you know, Jared?
November 30th.
November 30th. So it's a tight timeline to write a grant, but if you could somehow pull it off, that would be done through you would have to get the borough to sign off on it to send that into the local share.
Yeah, we would have to be
Account.
the grantee.
We would have to be the grantee.
All right, let me follow up on that.
Okay.
Appreciate that. 'Cause,
LSA statewide is.
Is that the website?
It's through DCED.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it, more information.
All right, thank you very much.
Yep.
Here, for instance, the cupola or the steeple, for us to replace it, $182,000. Just the steeple.
Not to replace it, to renovate it.
There you go.
And that's at state wages and it's positioned that way so that we could possibly get a state grant.
Yeah, if you use a grant, you have to do
Yep.
that.
Yes, so we do have estimates for that and other items, such as the cornice, the painting.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So I probably should have reorganized this and put the budget discussion first, but I already passed that point. So have on here potential timeline for the RFP process for the McGinnis property disposition. I put this on here because after the last meeting, I received several suggestions that we skip the RFP process and just go right to having a public auction for McGinnis. I did receive a potential timeline for RFP, just so everyone's aware. so we can make, you know, an educated decision on this. Well, the prep was take 45 days to develop the RFP, 30 days of distributing it, that it's open. After 15 days, we would ask for the questions that anyone has to be due. And then the responses would be distributed. The RFP would actually be due, actually the RFP would be open for 75 days. And then we would have 7 days to consider, and then we would issue the decision to the developer. That puts us at 90 days to know who is going to purchase it and work on that purchase agreement. The thought at that point was we could do an expedited closing, which would result in a lower price, say 6 months for an expedited closing, or, you know, a year, possibly a year for a longer closing with the development, so that they can work on their entitlements. If we did the expedited closing, we could look at something, say, you know, the end of June of 26 for that. What the EDC sent me was basically samples of when they had used this RFP process, like the Southern Market did the RFP process, and they went from releasing the RFP to the notification of a decision, and it was in 5 months. And then the Historic Swan Hotel RFP, that went from release of the RFP to the development announcement in 5 months. He didn't say what it was for, how long it went to closing. But that was what, you know, that was the proposal, that we could possibly have something to be closed by June, with the understanding that that would be a more than likely a lower sales price, because it's riskier for the developer, so they're not going to pay as much if there's the lower price, if there's a shorter time. They also said that if we go with a public auction, we can pretty much count on the lower price, because it's at the riskier. We're not going to have the time to figure out all the, you know, the entitlements and everything. So it's going to be a lower price. At that point, you figure, and they, you know, looking at timeline wise, if we decide now we want to do a public auction, the first one, we're looking at 60 days before we can, or, you know, 45 days to get a public auction together. If we don't hit reserve, we're looking at 60 days after that. So we're up to what, 3.5 months. And then we release it. At that point, then we can sign with a commercial realtor. We're looking at 6 months before we can start to market it anyway.
let me clarify that, because it would have to receive no bids in a public auction.
No,
Or
no,
not meet the reserve.
no. It can not meet the reserve. We can set the reserve and it cannot meet reserve.
How can we set a reserve?
The same way we did out at Blue Lane. We can set a reserve.
Right, I know, but there were, from what I understood from Evan, he said it's not just unqualified bids, so to speak.
That's at the RFP process. At a public auction, we set the reserve, and if the reserve isn't met, we don't sell.
Well, then what's stopping you from setting the reserve too high for the market?
Nothing, but then that also opens you up to a challenge that you did that just to skirt
Skirt the process.
the process. You couldn't set a reserve any higher than what an
All right,
appraised value is.
I know, but so what's stopping it? I guess
Nothing's stopping us.
it's still time wasted,
Yes, exactly.
but what's stopping us from holding 2 auctions with a reasonable reserve that we know we can get for it, because that's what it's valued at by the appraisal? And then
Nothing.
and then listing it.
Nothing. But you have to have so much time in between the auctions. An auctioneer is not going to, because the auctioneer has to do the work for this or they're not going to get the commission.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to have enough time that they can get it out there that, hey, this auction's happening.
Right.
You know, we have our advertising time and so forth that we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like we can do an auction, faster than 45 days.
Right.
It's still the fastest route.
I think it's too risky.
Yeah.
What's
how much
risky?
faster-
Way too risky.
Absolutely.
It
What's
seems like it's
risky
only
about it?
about a month
Dude,
and a half faster.
this
It's
project
process.
has been going on for how many years now? We have so much invested in it.
Yep.
I'm not talking about dollars from the borough, right? I mean, I don't want that to be misconstrued as we're taking tax dollars and investing it in a project. That's not true, number one. But this project has a very specific purpose.
Yes.
And that was to generate as much tax revenue as possible to balance the budget. That's the sole purpose of this project. And I think we've got so much time, so much invested to make sure that this property is ready to go to the highest bidder for the opportunity for the borough to collect as much revenue as possible. To, at this point, quick throw it on an auction block to get rid of it as quickly as possible is unreasonable. And I think it's hasty. I think it's irresponsible. And I think that we have less control over what goes into that property during an auction. I think the concern about an auction before was, what if somebody buys it and then just wants to sit on it for years and years and years?
Yep.
And now you're stuck with
And
no
that's
tax collection anyway.
That's exactly what
I don't,
what the concern
I'm
is.
totally 100% against an auction out of the gate. I would say no to any motion that was made to auction that property off.
The only guarantee you have with an auction is they will follow the zoning.
Yep.
When they decide,
When they
as I
decide
said,
to do it.
when they decide to do it.
Right.
And
That's the only
my
guarantee you
best
have in a
guess,
sale.
and I agree with Todd with what was done there. My best guess is you try to do this hastily, you're probably going to lose $2 million at least out of it.
Oh, at least.
At least out of it. You need to bring Rick Brenneman in here and speak to what he has seen through his experience in this kind of dealings.
All right, so let me understand this correctly. You're saying that now the EDC is back on board and will allow us to, will sell the property for us
No,
No.
they will help us with the RFP process.
Right.
and getting a realtor?
No, there won't be a
No, they
realtor.
will not get a realtor.
They
No,
won't get
we
it.
have to get a
That's
realtor.
Yes.
No,
All they're gonna do is say, hey, this is the process we follow to get a realtor.
No, they're going to say, hey,
They're gonna-
here's the RFP, and they're gonna contact all of their realtors and everyone else that they, in the business community that they have contacts with, and say, hey, we have this RFP, we want you guys to take a look at it. And are going to invite people to look at that RFP.
And make it, and possibly make a bid.
Right. And they will help us, they will look at those, at the submitted RFPs and say, you know, basically give them a score as to this is what Columbia Borough's goals are. This is the score of how much this RFP fits into those goals.
And when you go to sell, ultimately, you will know what they want to do with the property.
And we will know when they are going to do it.
Yes.
How? How will you know that?
Because we can put it into
The RFP.
into the RFP. That we
Construction
want
shall begin
someone,
in such.
yeah, we
The
want
RFPs you're gonna
construction to
control.
begin in this.
The
And
RFP
it
is
goes into the sales agreement.
The RFP is our method of controlling the process, but what we want to see out of it, when we want it done by. That's, we put the terms and conditions in there. That's our chance right there. I mean, to me, I
So, hold on a
I'm
second.
glad, when I'm speaking, I agree totally with Todd said. To me, an auction is just a desperation heave to get whatever the hell you can get out of this to throw out the budget. Well, that's great now, but you look what you're gonna lose in the future, especially given the amount of time and effort, energy, et cetera, that's been put in this from the get-go, long before I even got on the council again. To me, it's just, there's no way I would go for it.
It's a great
No way.
investment. Don't screw it up now. That's how I look at it.
So to me, it sounds good to have control of the process on one hand, but I say, and this gives me hesitation, it's given me hesitation the whole way through this, is that the more hoops you require a buyer to jump through, the smaller you make your pool of buyers. Okay?
You
So
only need one buyer.
I know, right? But
One buyer. You just need to
unless
get
you
that
have
one.
competition for a property, your price is far lower. Okay, so for example, and I'm not saying that this on auction, but at an auction, the second highest bidder was willing to pay the price that it sold for. You don't know what the top bidder was willing to pay for it because they won, you know? But it required two. It required that competition and the pressure. If you look at properties selling just on the market, anytime you have hundreds of saves on a property and a bunch of people looking at it, it's pressure and people up their offer. The realtor that's representing them comes in, says there's a lot of interest in this property. And so, yes, we only need one buyer. However, if there's only a small pool of buyers that get contacted and are willing to jump through all the hoops of the red tape that's going to be surrounding an RFP process, all these requirements by the borough. This is why government projects, publicly funded projects, I don't want to say they never work, but there's a lot of roadblocks between them and what just the economy is saying.
What's the economy saying? Because everything I understand was that we already have people from day one interested in the property to buy it. Number two, that this is one of the last remaining light industrial zone parcels in all of Lancaster County that's available, and it's a hot commodity right now. That's what I understand the market is.
Yes.
So if we know that, then why do we have to wait 4.5 months or whatever it is?
Right, if it's a hot commodity.
Yeah.
Those
That should be an
people,
issue.
those people that are interested as a hot commodity need to have the due diligence.
They need to have the time.
They
to
need
do
to,
their entitlements.
they will not be the ones to bid. Well, they'll bid
but they're not.
on the auction, but they're gonna lowball you. And the second time around, you're gonna get the same bidders, same cost.
I'll say this, I disagree with the notion that we'll get $2 million less on an auction because we can set the reserve.
You cannot legally set the reserve to not sell the property.
Why not? We're not saying.
We're protecting our investment. I'm not saying set it at $10 million, but I'm saying set it at something that we're not going to lose money by doing it that way. Why
I'll
would
tell you what,
we take
you
a
set
risk
the
at
reserve at
losing?
that, you will not meet the reserve and you will waste it how many months? On the 2 months. Half of what you had done with the RFP.
But hold on a second. That RFP,
And then you start over again.
how much it gonna cost us to go through the EDC?
1%.
And $100 an hour.
So we're adding up pretty fast there, pretty quick.
Hold on, it's not just 1% because
I know it's not.
we're putting a finder's fee for any realtor that helps out.
What does an auctioneer charge?
A realtor typically gets 6% on commercial real estate transactions. We will not effectively incentivize realtors to get involved in this unless we make it, 4 or 5%.
Yep, well, and
As
that's,
a
that was
bone.
what I was thinking, is that we would offer 4%, for a commercial realtor. But I also don't want to pay the buyer's commission.
Mhm.
Because they get, in Pennsylvania, you pay a buyer and a seller commission. I don't think we should pay the buyer commission.
Commissions are usually split.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
a
of course.
commission and
Yes.
it's split.
Mhm. But lately, it's been,
You can.
the seller's been paying those commissions
Part of the
both parts.
negotiations.
Yes. And I don't think I would be interested in paying both parts.
The other aspect about this is, and obviously a listing is separate, but I just want to put it in perspective. A listing agent that's guaranteed to sell that property, like when a seller goes into an agreement with a broker, a listing agent, that listing agent, if they make the sale, is going to make 6%. They're locked in. So because they're locked in, they're going to do their due diligence. They're going to cover their marketing bases as far and wide as they can across the country. And they might put 6 months of work into a project, 6 months to a year. Think of all that time. That's, they're working for their 6%. And if you sell a property and get 6% of a, say it's $1 million property, 6% of that is $60,000. So a realtor in this case is going to say, well, I have a chance at 4% if I find a buyer. But it's kind of like fishing, where you don't know that you're going to make if you're going to make the catch. So a realtor is going to see the incentive and may or may not be incentivized to put much time into this because they're competing against as many realtors. It's a free for all. In other words, even if there is a 4% bone to get, they aren't guaranteed to get that if they put a bunch of time into it. So the realtors that are getting involved or being asked to be involved in this through the RFP are not going to have the incentive to put the marketing time that needs to be done in here. And so I'm not saying it won't work. I'm just saying I'm concerned that it's not going to have the coverage of the marketing that it deserves.
That an auctioneer would have?
Well,
We're not supposed to go to an auctioneer.
That's what you're saying. You're saying auctioning on.
No, we're saying put it to auction with a reasonably high, a reasonable.
People who are interested in properties like, not, this is an assumption.
Hold on a second.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry. That was wrong.
We're asking for a reserve. It's reasonable. If we get that reserve, if that auction hits the reserve, we've met our goal. True, we don't know time.
You've met one goal.
No. There only can be one goal, and that's to sell the property. Any other goal is a dream. To sit here and say that for anybody to buy that property, they must build in 6 months is crazy, because it's not gonna happen. There's no guarantees. The only guarantee we have is a bill of sale. After that, it all goes out the door.
Well, that's why I believe going to a realtor is the better pathway,
I do
because
too.
it
No, I
gives
do
those
too.
folks an opportunity
I'm all
to
in
do
favor
due
of going to realtor.
diligence.
I am all in favor of going to realtor.
What are you against that?
I'm
Going to
against
EDC?
I'm against using EDC. I'm all in favor of using realtor.
Their pool of realtors is greater. You're gonna wanna go.
Their pool of
to
realtors is greater
one
than
realtor.
who?
Then just going with one realtor.
Because the other part of this is, if you go with one realtor, then we're gonna have to bring them in here and do the interviews to pick a realtor, and we all know
Just hire a realtor.
After the auctions.
after the auctions.
After the auction, you can pick whatever you want.
If you hired a realtor and you cut out the buyer's commission, what incentive does the buyer side have to sell that property or buy it from
We're
us?
not, I'm not, nobody's saying anything about cutting
But
commission.
she did.
No,
She said,
no. I'm saying the buyer's portion of it, I don't wanna pay the buyer's portion of the commission.
so where's that coming from?
The person
buyer.
buying. It's really just a game. It's a game on numbers.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
It's
If
what
you're gonna
the-
buy it for $1 million
Nope.
and there's 600,000 in commission, 300 goes to this, 300 goes to that,
Mhm.
it's still $1 million property.
Right, so it's a negotiation, because like in New Jersey right now, they changed the law completely. That commission is completely on the seller now. 100% of it. Buyer pays none. At least in this opportunity, we have a negotiation, but they can always come back and say, I'm not paying any of it either. So that's where it gets really messy.
I just think we should probably take the extra time to put in the effort with the RFP and the stipulations and, not try to shotgun something quicker or cheaper, because it's been, 6 or 7 years since the property was bought and it's been developed. Like, I just don't think that it would be really a good, like you were saying, Todd, to just, get it out as soon as possible. I think it's just better to put in the little bit of extra work. And if those people who wouldn't go through the hoops to buy the RFP, they probably wouldn't have, maybe they would just like to prefer to sit on the land rather than actually building anything at all. And then we basically develop the land and no taxes being paid on it, or barely any taxes being paid on it because it's not being developed. I think, we want to find a real developer to come in and build something on it, and the RFP process is the safer way of doing that.
They buy it, sit on it, put it in clean and green, and you get $1,300 a year.
Yep.
Or
Big
sit
whoop.
on it for 5-10 years so it appreciates, and then turn around and sell it to the next guy who sits on it for 5 or 10 years,
Yeah.
wait for it to appreciate and sell it.
But
I
there's
think
there's
having an
also no
opportunity-
guarantee
I know there's no
with the
guarantees in
RFP
life.
that qualified
But what the
buyers.
RFP offers is an opportunity, a time frame for real serious people who are interested in this parcel
They're
to
real
come
serious.
look at it,
Develop it.
think about it, talk to architects, talk about their ideas, put a plan together, and then come in with a proposal. You go to the auction, there is none of that opportunity. There's none of that opportunity. And I think that, sure, an auction could work. It could be the miracle of miracles, and we get paid twice as much as we're asking for, and it gets developed the next day and solves all our tax problems. Could happen. I just don't think it's the wisest route forward. After all this time and all this investment, people have been saying we're not landlords, we're not real estate investors. Well, we're not realtors either. Let's trust it to the realtors, the folks who have experience doing this, to get us the right realtor, to get us the right person, to get us the right project that's in there that meets our ultimate goal, which is goal number 2, the most tax revenue generation for the borough to help us balance our budget.
All right, can I ask you a question?
I must go.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Yep,
I
sorry,
have
Leo.
I have a very important thing that I'm 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late for already.
Thank you.
What's your question?
Thank you, Leo.
It's probably more to Heather, but you might be able to answer. I don't know. The EDC, we we have to hire a realtor at some point.
No, we don't.
Well, the EDC is not going to transfer the property.
No, they're not gonna transfer
So
the
how
property.
can a borough sell a property without?
You don't need a realtor to sell a property.
Are you gonna try to sell it directly?
Yeah, we would sell it directly to the person that gets who submits the winning RFP.
So the RFP technically meets the requirements of a public auction.
Yes. That was the whole point of this.
Right.
That was the whole point of doing the RFP,
Mhm.
is to meet that public auction requirement.
It's
It's basically like a sealed bid.
right. It's effectively a sealed bid.
Yeah.
And in the same way, if we would go through the RFP and none of the bids are qualified or meet the level that they should be, then
You can say no to them. You don't
you
have to accept.
you don't have
the
to accept
offer.
anything.
Right.
All of them would just be offers.
Right.
Mhm.
You
So
don't have to
how-
accept the offer.
Right, because we essentially have a reserve for that as well.
Okay, so I wanted to clarify. You said it would be 45 days to develop the RFP, then 90 days.
No,
That
we
it's
could-
sent
because
out.
We could have the RFP out within 30 days.
Okay, so we could have it out in 30 days.
Mhm.
Then there was 7 days for questions. And then 90 days till it's required to have an offer in.
No, what you said, I wrote it down for you. So it was 45 days to write and post the RFP, 30 days to get responses to the RFP.
Right.
And within that 30 days, you have additional 15 days where they're going to ask us questions and we can respond back to their questions.
Yes.
So if you add that all up, it comes to
So-
90.
So then when are you, let's say we approved going to EDC right now, this very moment. When could we have the first offer in,
By the end of the year.
Okay, so
like December 31st?
practically speaking, it would be no different with a public auction to get first round of bids in. Because we would need at least 45 days to organize a public auction at this point. And then it would be the end of the year at the very earliest that you could hold a public auction and review the bids.
So you're responding to the idea of having time to do due diligence and come up with a plan. That's what you're responding to my comment about that?
No, I'm just playing with the ideas here. I'm just saying RFP or public auction, we aren't going to review bids. Either one is not going to be before the other, basically.
Right.
At this point, we could review bids from the RFP. The length of time is in the closing after it.
Yes, exactly.
That's the long length of time, which in a public auction, you're still going to have a terms and conditions put in the public auction for a slow close or a
fast close.
a fast close. So that would affect who's going to bid on it as well.
So am I wrong
Yeah, it's
in
very
arguing that there's a period of time in there where due diligence can be done and planning and conversation? I'm wrong in that, or am I right in that?
No, you're right in
You're
that.
right, yeah.
I mean,
That's
it
the
would
thing.
happen after the
that.
RFP.
So originally, when it was brought up, when Evan brought it up, it made it sound like the due diligence was happening before the bids were due in.
No.
That's the way he made it sound.
It-
That's
well,
the way
That's the way he
it
made it
could.
sound.
What he said,
It
that's what I
could,
understood.
because Rick Brenneman said it could happen both ways. You could have that long due diligence period before the bids are due, or you could have a long due diligence period after the bids are in.
Mhm.
He said if you do the long due diligence before, you're gonna get better offers.
Yeah.
Question. I'm going to go back with what Todd was saying too. You guys are so far into this project. There's been so much evolving around it.
And Todd kind of hit it there when he said, you know, you're already in it, you've invested in it, you have a great plan potentially for it to be developed to help with our budget and all the wonderful things it'll do for us. Why are we talking about pulling the plug now? What's bringing that up to change the process once again, to rush a sale or to rush this process so quickly that we can't follow through with this plan that you already have in place, that the timeline is in place, we move and forward? What's bringing this up to pull the trigger so quick?
It sounds like we have a plan in place. We have a concept, is best I'll say. Our plan has been kicked around, messed up, changed, altered so many times. 2 different borough managers.
Pullouts from
Yeah, the original investment.
from drone company.
Yeah. I don't even know, we don't have our bioscreening signed yet, do we?
Tomorrow or Thursday.
So the BIOS grant finally gets signed, which we voted on a month ago.
That is,
I'm not, listen,
oh my
I'm
gosh.
not pointing fingers at anybody.
Oh, that
What
whole,
I'm saying is, we were under the impression, council, that we were gonna vote tonight, and tomorrow Heather was gonna sign a BIOS grant. Come to find out, that wasn't the case.
Right.
And now, a month, 2 months later, we're finally signing a BIOS grant. Okay? Let's take it one step further. Let's ask where the RACP money is. We've never seen a penny of RACP money.
Nope.
Okay?
That's
So I am tired of being a realtor. I am tired of being a landholder, and I'm saying, I don't care if we sell it for 65% of the value of that property. Sell it and move on.
That would be a disservice to the citizens.
Yeah.
They're saying worst case scenario, or best case, it could be clean and green for a lifetime. We'll go out and ask the residents. They all want to stay clean and green.
They also don't want tax increases either.
Yeah.
Well,
Right?
but at least we're not at fault for spending the money and continue to spend the money on it.
I guess, but we would be, the council collectively would be at fault for going for a deal that is worse for the.
No, we're not, no. Hold on a second, why don't you say there? We will not lose on this. We may not get as much as we want, but we will not lose.
We sell, we'll definitely get our money back on it.
Yeah, but
So it's not worse for citizens of Columbia, number one. Number two, no tax dollars were used for this.
That's exactly right.
It was all capital.
Sure,
Capital.
but
No, not sure.
And
When we
grants.
go to sell it, it goes back to capital. It doesn't come to revenue.
which at that point, it goes for fixing our roads, all of those capital improvement projects that we'd like to see
So
done.
my thing is, the sooner we can move it,
That's gonna be a lot easier.
the better off we are. The more stable we are as a council, the more we don't have to deal with the process. This has been going on, okay, when Heather and I first got on and Mark came to, well, all of us,
It
honestly.
was like pre-COVID.
Yeah, I mean, Mark gets on and
No.
says, the drone,
No, we bought it in 21.
the drone deal is the best way to go. I was in favor of it. Because I wanted Columbia to have that modern technology. I wanted Columbia to be the forefront of technology, and the drones were it. But the drones aren't here. And for us to continue to keep playing with this project, to me, is senseless. And I want it sold, and I want it sold tomorrow. Because I know that every big industry in at least Pennsylvania, probably Pennsylvania, Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, New York, Ohio, know about McGinnis. Everybody knows about McGinnis. They know from day one when we bought the property to all the investment we did in fixing it up and restoring it. So their due diligence is going to be, does it meet this? Yes, here's paperwork, it's already done. Does it meet this? Yes, here's compaction. We just had it done, okay? It's not going to be a lengthy process. And these people, these builders out there know what we're doing.
The due diligence is gonna come in the form of traffic studies because they want to know the traffic counts.
Access to the property.
They want to know the access to the property.
Again, people who are intentionally looking for that right now have their realtors looking for that information. They already know what Matter Street's going to do. They already know the traffic patterns it's going to cause. They already know about the Plain Street Tunnel. They can't run trucks under it all the time. Okay? They know about this stuff. This isn't something Columbia stumbled onto yesterday and are trying to sell today. This is years and years and years.
And all I'm saying is, so why can't we give it a few more months to get even a better deal?
We can.
If possible.
We can.
That's all I'm arguing for.
We can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we can't. We might be able to go another year and a half, maybe do a little better development and get a little more money for it. But at what point do you cut your losses? Or I shouldn't say losses. At what point do you cut it and say enough's enough? And I have to agree with the majority of people in Columbia, enough's enough. Move on. I don't want to be in the real estate business. I'm done.
I'll say that part of my arguing one way or the other tonight is just I need to process these ideas. And none of us here are real estate professionals, including myself.
I get my license.
And so
I did.
Commercial real estate. Nobody here is a commercial real estate agent. But I feel that I just need more information to make a proper decision. I mean, all the decisions we make at this table, we require experts to be informing us. And I'm not saying we don't have any experts informing us with this. I think that the EDC is they have a lot of experience with economic development. And
So what information do I need to bring next Tuesday so that we can make a decision?
well, if we're going to argue for or against the public auction, I know nothing about the public auctions for commercial real estate. Is there any way that we could have someone present to us about commercial real estate public auctions?
Well, we just did one a year and a half ago.
But that was just a land auction.
It's still a commercial. It's still a commercial auction.
I know, but this is a commercial property that we want to be developed for commercial industrial business. And so
But a land auction's a land auction. You can't say any of that stuff in it.
I know, but the zoning applies, and if we would go the auction route, I would not want to go with the typical auctioneer that's local here, that's just auctioning off farms and empty land, because they're gonna market just to the local area, the local buyers who would want to put it into clean and green potentially.
The guy that we used last time, he had 4 different people online from across the country
Mm-hmm.
that were bidding on it. So it's not just they do that.
I understand that. But I would want to talk to someone or hear from someone who specializes in selling commercial real estate to industrial projects.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's possible. But I don't just want to throw it out the window and say that's a dumb idea. Right? We need information. Information is power to help us make a proper decision. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to vote for the RFP. The more information we can get at this table without looking down our nose at it is power to us. We need to make a good decision for this investment for the Borough of Columbia.
All right. So we need to have someone talk to us about a commercial auction, like a commercial auctioneer process. What else do we need?
Does EDC need to be here?
The EDC will not come to a public meeting because that is not, it is too much like.
Got it. But we know what happened last time.
That's not how they operate.
You know what happened last time? We had realtors come in and that kind of threw a wrench in the
Yes.
whole relationship. Is this another wrench toss?
I don't want to throw a wrench in this. Here's what I'm asking, Heather. can we start moving forward with the RFP process? That way that ball is rolling.
Yes, we can, but the issue is no one wants to do that and put all this time and effort into it if it's just going to get thrown away.
Yeah, I know, but we're paying them $100 an hour to do it.
We're not paying them, we're paying Evan to do the RFP.
Hold on a second. Now that there's another.
They're not doing the RFP.
Hold on a second. What are we hiring the EDC to do then?
To receive the RFPs, make sure that they meet our requirements and everything else. So it's cheaper than having Evan do it.
A realtor's cheaper than having Evan do it.
We can't hire a realtor straight out.
Correct.
Because of the EDC.
Because I was gonna bring that question
No,
up.
because-
Why
That's
is
why we're
that
going
involved
to
in
EDC,
anything?
so we can get access to realtors.
Because there is laws in place
absolutely.
in Title 8 that says the way that municipalities can dispose of property. And legally, the only way that you can sell property, you have to do either sealed bid or public auction twice. And if you do not get what you want there, then you can contract directly with a realtor.
The EDC is a kind of a pathway to get to the realtors
Before-
legally without
Legally,
having to go through
correct.
the trial and error of the other
So,
approved ways.
so they're still going to present 2 sealed bid opportunities before they go to a realtor. EDC. They're gonna do the exact same process.
No, the EDC is going to, they can reach out to all of their economic development contacts and say, hey, this RFP's going out.
Right.
You want to take a look at it?
If we don't get what we want the first time,
Mhm.
then what happens? Has to do it again.
I'm not sure if we have to do it a second time. Do
That's-
you remember, Jack, what Evan said?
I don't.
I don't remember what he said.
Heather, I'm wondering though, would it be beneficial to have Rick Brenneman attend?
It may,
Next year?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's see if
He
Rick
really
can come
needs to be
Tuesday.
Who's Rick Brenneman?
He's the guy we hired to oversee the project.
Yeah, he's the project manager out there.
Right.
And he is a developer. That's what he
Right.
does.
Oh, I take his word.
Mhm.
Would that work for you?
What's that?
Would that work for you?
So
For what? I mean, I'm happy to have him here. Yeah.
let's see.
Or
Yeah,
what
let's see
was
if
the-
Rick can come in.
What was your question? In lieu of a real estate person?
We kind of had that already.
I just want to find out, like, I mean, how much is the RFP going to cost to have that written up?
I don't know.
Knowing what I know.
And how long?
Knowing what I know. History says.
I was told it can be done in 30 days.
And you hold them to it.
How many hours a day?
Doesn't matter.
35. Yeah, it does. It's $1 an hour.
$100 an hour.
Oh,
Your deadline is, boom.
35 hours an hour. Or 35 hours a day.
can we get a quote from him?
I can certainly ask.
What's it gonna cost us to get this done? Give us a quote. Then we can say, bring this up, not to exceed.
Frank has a question.
Yes, Frank.
All right.
Set that timer. No, I'm just kidding.
I understand this is your meeting. You run it the way you want to run it. I don't have a problem with that. But I got the feeling that you people knew nothing about this until you sat down at the table. Correct me if I'm wrong. You have the packet, you have those laptops. Why didn't you have knowledge of this, that it was coming at the meeting? Here's a little bit about it. You're in limbo land. You didn't know until you took that seat. Why?
I knew about it.
I would disagree with that, Frank. You go ahead. I would disagree with that. So we knew about it. We've had much of this conversation before.
No, not what you got tonight.
Oh, yes, we have.
Yes.
Heather
Yes.
laid on you something altogether different.
No,
Not
One
from
to
my
the
page.
No, no,
Not from my page.
really.
No.
Look, I've annoyed the heck out of Heather with all my emails. We've discussed this in depth.
So you did know, okay, then
We've had a lot of discussion on it, but part of the borough council job is to discuss it in public.
Okay,
Yeah.
but my thought was, if you had more information on this, you could talk to realtors, whoever you wanted to talk to. So when you come to the meeting, you know what you're talking about. You don't have to say, well, you think, or whatever. That's just what I see sitting here. If you went with the RFP or whatever the hell that is, how much does it cost a month or a year to sit? Once the project's done, phase one's done, they're out of here pretty soon from what I talked to out there. So how much, if you decide to go that route and it's sit a year, how much more is that costing? You don't do your homework. I'm not criticizing you. I'm just trying to get you to understand.
The only thing it's costing us, Frank, is when we bought it, we lost $3,800 a year in tax revenue.
No, 1,300.
1,300 in tax revenue.
Okay, so that's nothing.
But that's what it's costing us.
No, but now don't you have a loan you got to pay on?
No.
No, not right
No,
away.
no, so it's not costing you nothing to sit to do the RFP.
No, it's not.
It'll cost us
So-
to
so-
have the RFP
Written
completed.
up.
Once it's sold, that's when that answer.
That's sold, that's when you get.
Okay.
It's more about time than it is about.
You're right. It's more about time.
Dollars.
And neither one is a, we're talking about two different concepts here. And neither one is, oh my God, are you kidding me? No, I'd never do that in a million years. It's just, you've got 7 different opinions and you're trying to get
Yeah,
people
but
to hear.
you need the information. You got to bring people here, whoever you can bring in to learn that.
Well,
That's-
and that's why I'm
We've done
asking,
that
who do
already.
we need to hear from? So we'll have Rick here Tuesday and we should be good.
How's Rick as far as laws, knowing the laws and you
Well,
say,
he's a
you say he's
developer
a
and-
developer.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he'll speak to the climate.
Wouldn't it be nice if he would come and give the people of the town an idea of what's going on out there? I know it's not very long he's going to be there, but don't you think it would be nice if he say, here's what we got going or whatever? We don't get none of that.
We do, we've been given his updates every meeting.
Yeah,
He sends us the updates.
yeah, you get it. We don't know none of that.
That's why I announced what's going on out there. And Derek did last time too, I believe.
And I guess the other thing is, Heather, I don't know who you're negotiating with to get all this information. Don't we have a borough manager now? Isn't that his job to do this? Shouldn't this be his job?
I got pulled into this project last year when Mark left because we needed stability in the project and I was asked to sit in on the meetings. So I started to sit in on the meetings. Since then, when we had the last borough manager, he wasn't involved in the project. So I was asked to stay involved. So I've been involved this far. I'm asking the questions. I know what council's asking. I'm doing that. To expect the borough manager to now jump in, who is also doing the chief of police job and everything else.
That's all your call.
You need the stability. This is a very important project.
I understand that. And I'm glad that you're
So
sitting here.
I've been working with the EDC. I've been working with Evan. I've been working with Rick Brenneman. Rick's texts me all the time. Because I get calls from citizens out there with questions or whatever. I've been fielding those, all of that stuff.
Bottom line, if council's happy with it, who am I to say anything? But I just think people need to be more informed. That's just my thoughts. Thanks anyway.
All right, so we'll have Rick here Tuesday. Anyone else we want to hear from?
He's the one I'd really like to hear from. to be honest
Okay.
with
All right. Next, the general budget discussion as preparation for the budget meeting to be held 10/16. I put this on here because I met with Jack and Ron and also the finance manager Brian on Friday to do an initial review of the budget numbers. And as we were going through things, a few things came up, and I figured I wanted to bring those up tonight so that if we have answers on them, it will affect the budget numbers so that we can actually see a good representation when we get the budget next week. A couple of things. First of all, up until now, we have always had the tax collector deputize the borough to collect taxes here. We've heard from staff for several years now that this, and especially with staff turnover, that this is a hardship and it costs us more to do that here, even though it is, a service for the citizens, than we are actually making. Now, years ago when we had issues with cash flow, it was also a way to make sure we got our tax dollars right away. They didn't have to go to the county and wait for a check every month. That's not the concern now. So my question is this: the tax collector is on the ballot this time. We do have someone running for tax collector. Or is it still the will of council to have the borough deputized to collect taxes? It will affect the revenue numbers because as it is now, we get revenue from the Lancaster County Tax Collection Bureau for collecting the county portion of the tax. But it will also affect our expenditures in that we will now be paying, and if we do not do that, we will be paying the commission fee to Lancaster County for collecting the local portion of the taxes. So I wanted to throw that out there to see everyone's thought on that.
So it's a burden for staff right now for us to collect it.
Yes. Some say it is.
But it's a cost and an actual dollar cost savings.
I think it's probably very little. Yes, very little. But I don't think it is, because if you consider time being money, we keep talking about the wanting to reduce the overtime costs for the admins and overtime costs for the bookkeeper. That would free up time if they're not performing this service. So, I mean, I think it would be a savings to not do it. We are one of the last municipalities in Lancaster County that still collects taxes here. Everyone else has them go to the county. The school district has them go to the county. The school district doesn't use the tax collector. So I'm just throwing it out there.
I think the argument in the past has been the residents seem to appreciate being able to drop their tax.
Convenience.
Yes,
Off.
it's convenience.
The convenience factor. Is that still a convenience that's being asked for?
Seems
With
antiquated.
online payment and all that other kind of stuff, right?
It seems antiquated, kind of like our coin-powered parking
Right.
meters.
Yeah, I think probably it's time we start moving.
Has anybody asked the tax collector or the ones that are running to be tax collector?
Mm-hmm. There is one person running.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've asked them?
I have not talked to them, no.
So what happens if they win in November and become a tax collector and then we eliminate the need?
No,
No,
no, they'll still be the tax
still-
collector. They have to determine if they
Oh,
want to
got
take the
it. That's
position or
right.
not. And if they
Got it.
do, then they
Got it.
have to
Right.
do
Take it.
everything that is involved with being the tax collector,
Right.
Unless they deputize.
unless they deputize the borough. But if we say we're not willing to be deputized, then they have to do everything that's
Do that.
expected of a tax collector,
Mhm.
or it goes to the county.
But that has been,
Got it. I understand.
that has been, us deputizing the tax collector has been the standard for many years now.
Mhm.
So for us just to change our policy or direction, well, while we're in the middle of an election,
Seems,
I think that's kind of,
how much would it cost us to have the county collect it?
I'm not sure, because I'd have to look at the percentages, and I don't know those off the top of my head. I asked Brian, that's one of the things I asked Brian to find out.
And I'd like to hear our finance manager's opinion.
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right.
Can I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
If you've got the money, if you're not paying the tax collector, if you send it to Lancaster, and you're not paying the tax collector, and you. and-
Well, we don't pay
We don't
the
pay
tax
tax.
collector.
The tax collector doesn't get
No.
paid at all?
Mm-mm.
No, the only
It's
way the
volunteer
tax
job?
collector gets paid is if the tax collector collects taxes.
They do it themselves, and the borough's not
Right.
with them. They have to separately do that alone. Then they would get paid for that, but
Who
not,
pays them?
taxpayers,
Taxpayer.
Mhm.
You pay your tax.
they get a
They
percentage.
get a percentage of that
Of
money.
what they're
Oh, all right.
collecting.
I
Yeah.
wasn't aware of that, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
Yeah, they get like 75 cents a tax bill or something like that.
So the revenue that you get now from Lancaster County for collecting their taxes, we would lose, but you might be able to make that up for staff time and overtime?
Postage and.
right,
That's
to
it.
save that.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and right now, we get,
There's a line in there.
is it charges for, yeah, county tax, it's, about $4,000 we get in revenue from the county.
And your overtime is in what?
I don't know because we don't track the overtime for this specific thing
Job.
separately.
Task, yeah.
I mean, is there any way they could like, I don't know, that'd be a question for the staff, but maybe they have a particular time, a particular day that, you
Yeah,
know, you're focused, you're doing just that.
well, and
Nothing else.
I don't know,
Be a little more efficient to just boom, 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 instead of stopping, collecting one.
I don't
2 hours later
know,
comes another one.
well, right, and I don't know that Brian has enough experience yet to make
Make that call.
that call,
I hear you.
but well, I can ask him. All right. Yes.
As of tonight, do I understand that you don't have the 7 people, you don't have their budgets?
What do you
They
mean?
didn't turn their budget into you?
Who?
The 7 people that come before you tonight here,
No, we didn't ask for their budget.
why not?
I mean, we asked what their budget was, but
But you just take that for granted.
yes.
That's the way you do work. The other thing I'd like to ask, when, I forget how you, did I say something funny?
No.
What I'd like to ask, I'm not sure how whoever does the budget, but could you put in there all the tax exempt properties?
That's not part of the budget process.
It'd be nice for the people to know.
I mean, yeah, but we're not gonna put it with the budget.
I'll do a 5-day notice then. The same way, the people that pay in lieu of, you don't like to know that either?
We have the amount, but we don't have them specified.
That'd be nice to know. Maybe somebody, when they go off council, might just take that up and go out and try and get more money out of them. Anything we can get is a help.
All right.
We have in the past, Frank, sent letters to the churches.
Yes, we do.
Always do.
We get very little.
Every year.
We get very little in lieu of. All right, so no decision on the tax collection thing yet, but we would like to hear from Brian at the budget meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Next, Market House events. At the meeting, you were saying about we need to cut out events, we need to drop the market manager part-time. Where do we stand on that? Yes, no, it affects revenue, possibly expenditures. Because the other thing is, in the budget that I saw, there is also a line item, it is keeping the manager at full-time, and there is also a part-time assistant manager in the budget.
I'm not aware of that.
So that's what I'm throwing that out there, because this is why I'm throwing this out there.
And that's with a budget reduction.
So-
Market House.
I would like to reduce large scale events.
Yeah.
I.e., wedding
Wedding.
receptions. stuff like
Weddings.
that.
Yeah. I agree with you on that, because
The
we
other-
have other venues in this town that can, if they want to do the smaller, like say publicly, like a public service event, I could see those.
We've had the police chief say,
Right.
we've had
Mhm.
bar associations
Borough,
there.
yeah.
Well, and those aren't generating revenue because we're waiving fees.
Right, but
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
still offsets,
Yeah.
because it's a cost that the borough is willing to pay, because it's given back to the community.
Right,
Get back
but
to-
I want to make sure that the budget reflects
Reflects that.
a realistic number.
Right, right, but what I'm saying is, I mean, if your budget comes out and it's 20,000 short and you have $30,000 in giveaways, you're actually not $20,000 short. You're just giving away more than you should be. But, so if we eliminate the large scale events, not talking Saturday pop-ups, I'm not talking small venues. I'm saying the big wedding ones, the ones that take 8 to 10 hours at a time to operate.
Yeah.
Then I think you can get away with probably one full-time manager. The only reason I'm saying a full-time manager is there's a full-time restaurant going in there, not full-time.
No, they're just Saturdays, right?
Now they're
It's just Saturdays, isn't
No,
it?
there are days throughout the week as well.
Oh, are
Yes.
they?
I think it's lunchtime hours, 11 to 2 or
I believe
something.
it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
11 to 2.
Yes.
There's vendors that are now talking about seriously putting effort into Friday nights.
Mhm.
So that would open up the market for Friday and Saturday, which is something I
That
think
would
we
be
should really work towards.
Really.
Right, right.
Yeah.
At this time, I think it still has to be full-time because of Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You don't know what's going to happen the other days of the week. It could possibly be. That's something we can look at and adjust as we go.
342,205. I would take that down to 15. Okay.
The assistant, I don't think it's necessary.
No, I agree. And don't forget, I mean, like I said, that even when the days of the market aren't open, the process, well, the hope is that my manager's out there recruiting.
Right.
You know, pulling in what we don't have, what we need.
Well, I will say that I think just about all the stands are full.
Yeah, that was saying.
One stand, I
Yeah.
believe is vacant.
Right.
currently.
So, and there's some people, depending on, one of our problems is each stand isn't identical.
Yeah.
So some stands can have food, some stands can't.
Right.
So we do have vendors
Yeah.
of a certain category that just don't meet the stand
Yeah.
requirements.
May I ask for the opportunity to possibly present this to you before we make a decision?
Mhm.
So you see. what
Oh,
the
we're not
plan
making a
is.
decision.
Yeah.
No, we can't
So you
make
see
any-
what the plan is.
Yeah, no, we're just trying to,
We ran into
yeah.
an issue recently where the market house manager was not available for 2 weeks and management staff stepped up. And we potentially have the ability to have coverage, and also give Bonnie the ability to then focus on other areas with this coverage. So I would just like the opportunity to talk to all of you, in the context of the budget discussions before we make a decision.
Yep, okay. Then the only thing that I would change then is that Market House Hall events line that I gave you. The 342,205.
Okay.
Take that down to 15.
Okay.
It was at 25, take it down to 15, because that's not going to be as.
Okay.
And then the final question I have, fireworks.
Increase.
We said that, I thought when we were talking about the 300, you were saying that they were gonna be doing the fireworks, Eric.
Okay.
So are we taking the fireworks out of the borough budget and putting, and so that they're being paid for by the 300?
The 300th committee is going to have fireworks this next year. But with that being said, they're still dependent on income. The $8,000 we had in there went to Wrightsville. Wrightsville's not doing them because we're doing them. So the 300th committee still assuming that $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 donation is coming from the borough.
Michelle made a request to increase that to 10,000.
I don't know, this Michelle, what are you talking about?
Someone I know.
So,
yes, because even, let's say after next year, it goes back to Wrightsville. Well, they're still gonna come and ask for money anyway, so to take that line item out of the budget, I think is
all
not a
right,
good
so
idea.
are we keeping it at 8,000?
Well, I go home tonight, so I'd say
So you're saying he needs 10 or he can't go home, that's what he's
15,
saying?
make it a special night for me.
Ken Wrightsville,
All right.
2,000.
So now, also this evening, we received requests for
$350,
$350,000,
$800,
$800. Whereas this year,
$140,
we paid out $140,000.
$500,000 increase.
Now, I will say this, just so everyone is aware, because I think we all want to fully fund our fire department. We want to give the library money. We want to give everyone money. But I will tell you this, as it stands right now, without any increases in those community donations, we are looking at $922,000 from reserves. So, with that being said,
And what's that leave us?
Wow.
What's that leave us in reserve?
Negative 500, so. Reserves are being used this year.
And 2025 was, from reserve, it was like 360,000, is that right?
Yep.
Out of like, what, 1.4? I think it was 1.4, right around there. 1.5?
Yeah, it's not
And we're gonna use 400 of that.
Mhm.
So 900 next year, we're down to zero.
and we are within our 15% that our policy says needs to be maintained in reserve. So, with that being said, community donations.
Like I said, what they're asking from last year, this year's a $500,000 increase.
Well, one of the things I have a concern over is the Stephen Smith Foundation. I don't think that qualifies as a
It does not.
donationable
They are.
organization.
They're separate from Mount Zion. They're going to be
No,
The state
li-
nonprofit.
listen,
That's what
okay.
they told me, is that they're separate.
and I get that, but there are rules in the borough code that dictate what we can and cannot give money to. Chapters 12 and 29A of the Borough Code provide Borough Council with statutory authority to make appropriations to certain enumerated groups. If a group does not appear in the Borough Code, then it's prohibited, and the auditor could surcharge any official who voted to give the funds to those organizations. The Borough Code enables council to provide borough funds to armories, National Guard units, veterans, and American Gold Star mothers. In addition, Section 1202 of the code enables an array of appropriations, including municipal music, medical centers or hospital facilities, observance of holidays, anniversaries, or other borough celebrations, funds for neighborhood crime watch programs, and appropriations supporting programs that benefit senior citizens. The Article 9, Section 9 of the Constitution provides additional information as to funding for other groups. It states the General Assembly shall not authorize any municipality or incorporated district to become stockholder in company, blah, blah, blah. And it says, oh wait, that's the different part.
The list is up on the board.
And then PSAB gives the ones that are the most common asks. Basically, we can only give donations to,
I see Borough Anniversary.
Green Hill.
yes, it does. It says Borough Anniversary. Library, Volunteer Fire Ambulance Rescue, Borough Anniversary, Humane Society, Nurses Services, Tourist Promotion, Veterans Organization, Care and Erection of Memorials, Rewards for Apprehension of Criminals, and grants to nonprofit or corporations. Basically, we can only give money to groups that are going to benefit the whole.
Can you read the no list, please?
The no list: Salvation Army, Boys and Girls Clubs, Scouts, Cancer, Heart, etc. associations, schools, Rotary Club, Lions Club, church, memorial gifts to employees' relatives, memorial gifts to officials' relatives, and scholarships.
And these are common donation groups. It's not like an extensive list of all of them. Because I feel like it doesn't quite fit into anything specifically in the yes or the no column.
Well, I was hoping that we wouldn't get into this tonight.
But
Last year, I went to a housing forum, and I think it was West Hempfield Township or one of the townships or boroughs talked about how they gave so much money to like their homeless shelters. And I asked them how they could do that because it doesn't fit into this list. And they said they put it under the line item community development. So this would not be, if we chose to put money towards this, it would not be donation. It would be us putting money into community development. Under community development,
No.
it says community development and housing.
Townships have
Townships are different rules.
Well,
Township is not a borough.
but I wasn't exactly sure if it was a township or a borough.
And
West Hempfield's a township.
I couldn't
the
remember
state-
exactly who it was.
the state in their guidance for chart of accounts
could I
does
just-
not list
Could I
community
just,
development.
could I just finish this for
Yes.
community development? Because we don't have a line item for community development. And some of the topics under that include community development and housing, economic development, economic opportunity. And if you listen to the last part of what she said, it certainly fell under economic development as well as economic opportunity. So if we chose to pour some money into the Stephen Smith Foundation, it would not be a donation, so to speak. It would be the borough putting so much money into the economic development of our community. And that's how Brian explained it to me when I spoke with him about that.
Well, what would be the mechanism for that money to get through that line item to
Yep.
them? Would be a borough, like a borough would have to hold them in
I
hand or
found it
something?
I found it very curious that in the last 5 years, we have not had a line item for community development.
And the reason for that is because in the state chart of accounts for boroughs, there is no line item for community development.
Well, then why did Brian show that to me?
I don't know.
I mean,
Brian does not have municipal experience. He is still learning.
Mm-hmm.
So you may not have known when he was showing.
He may not have known.
Yeah.
Is that a state law?
Yes,
Yeah, the state of Pennsylvania has a whole,
yes, and
Borough
every
code.
municipality
And
claims
then my
is
next
different.
and then my next
Code for
question
borough.
is, you know, I did due diligence and I talked to Brian and then I talked to Chief and then I sent Heather a message, and like this has been in the last couple of weeks. If you knew that it was not possible, why didn't you tell me this ahead of time so that they didn't have to come here
I think I
tonight?
said that in
and
one of
bring-
the emails that I
Not
don't
to
think
me,
it's.
not to me. You even said that you would rather put it somewhere else than under community development.
I said I think it had to go because we don't have a community development.
No, you didn't. No, sorry, Heather, that wasn't in the email. And
So, but
before I
thought-
even asked them about coming here and presenting that, I wanted to cover all my bases because I didn't want to expose them to an opportunity of being told no.
I assumed that it was going to be more like the Historical Society and used for that kind of purpose. I didn't know what the purpose was.
So you don't know what Stephen's division was till tonight? That was the first you heard
we
it?
didn't know until tonight.
I didn't,
I had no clue what it was.
I did
Tonight.
look at it and see what it was, but
Is that under?
Okay, so this is interesting because I knew you would ask this. So Mount Bethel, while it technically, we kind of count it as care and erection of memorials, but the thing is, if the Mount Bethel Foundation ceases to exist, that falls back to the borough property anyway.
100%. We maintain it, we take care of it.
We would have to maintain it and take care of it anyway. So that's where that falls. Just like we do, now, we don't have it as a community donation because it still it's technically our property. The Zion Hill Cemetery is ours, and we have a line item in the parks thing for that, for the maintenance of that property.
Just had a quick question, Brad Chambers, Cherry Street. How would the Stephen Smith Foundation not be considered as a tourist promotion? Because I think like the end goal was to like promote the museum and the Stephen Smith Foundation as one of the birthplaces of the Underground Railroad, right? And you could put up.
That's not what they said. That's not what they said.
it was for.
Oh, okay.
That's not what they said it was for.
No.
They
They
did
said
not.
the money was for community.
Yeah, for programs,
Multicultural.
seminars and.
So
all that
because
kind
they
of stuff.
said that, it couldn't be used as promotion is.
Well, if there's nothing there, if there's nothing existing for them to use to promote tourists, we can't
So
give
if
the money to promote tourism if they have nothing there.
I understand what you're saying. And so if they rephrased their pitch, would that be something that they could maybe tap into?
Well, I mean, we wouldn't want them to just say something
to get
that wasn't
Yeah, that's-
actually
to
just
get a
to get the
donation.
money.
Right.
I mean, it
I
wasn't.
want to know what they're really going to use. I mean, that'd be
Yeah.
like Jared coming in and feeding us a line of stuff just to get extra money.
I understand. Yeah.
There's no way it can fall under the same category as Mount Bethel because it is a memorial to Stephen Smith in his honor.
But it's not existing.
It is existing. The building is there. They're improving it.
Yeah.
So to me, that would be community development.
Yeah.
Not a donation at all.
But it could potentially fall under care of a memorial. But it wouldn't, it would see they asked for money for the, like the programming
Program that they
side,
were doing.
not for the actual, because they have,
No, they specifically, yeah, they specifically asked for money for the building.
For the soft costs so they can get the grant
Yes,
for
yeah.
building repairs.
so the soft costs would be what, the engineering and stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
And at one time there was a sign out there. I don't think it's out there anymore.
Yeah, the historical sign?
Is it still there?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the last time it was out that way.
I mean, we're talking about this, but like, is this a feasible ask of the 15,000?
I guess kind of was one other conversation.
Like even if we say it is allowed and we are able to give money to it, what do you guys think about the cost
No.
of them asking 15?
No.
15's a lot compared to the others.
And it's fairly new.
Mm-hmm.
The cost of the what?
The cost of getting to that soft cost of 25,000. They're at 13 right now. They were asking for 15. I mean, I think it's a great program, and I would like to really see it in town. But like you were saying, it's currently $922,000 from reserve right now, which would basically, run us out. And that's if we stuck to exactly what was in the previous budget of 30,000.
And we also don't know where it's really going to fall under the line of the parameters here.
And not only that, when we're looking at increasing the fire department budget by $189,000,
Where is that
That
then?
has to come first.
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, the fire department increase has to come first.
Right,
Well, that is a necessity for sure.
right.
And I think the CCAT, we've wanted them to be self,
Yeah.
Yep.
And we
By
gave them
now.
less last year so that they could become more.
Yeah.
successful.
When are you going to get to that point?
yeah.
I mean, we
think,
gave them less last year.
I think they should, that should be at that point.
I do too.
And why aren't they selling or trying to get promotional money from them going out to Marietta and other places to
Well, I think
help
they,
train them?
yeah, I think they could charge for that
Right.
service.
They could.
And that could be a revenue stream for them.
Right.
Definitely.
They should be setting up a program to
More-
really show other people.
Yeah,
how
more
to-
regional than just going.
The programs that are being run through the animal shelter, not as their own program, which we originally thought they were going to run as a nonprofit. But now they're running under the animal shelter, not as their own nonprofit,
Oh, really?
which makes it a big difference. I mean, we heard the vet get up here and talk, and then I asked about money. Well, if they're being done at the animal shelter, then that's really where the money's going. When we started this, they were using like the SPCA in York or the SPCA in Lancaster, wherever they could take these cats that was the cheapest so that we could get the most out of our money and get this all taken care of. But now it just seems like they're using one place and that's it.
No, there was another place in Lancaster that they were using.
Yeah, but as a back.
Oh, yeah, the helping hands.
Helping
She
hands,
said they take some when they have overflow,
Right.
but the majority of their cats are being done there.
Well, that also
But
might
that
be the best
falls
deal.
in line with what they're doing. I mean, that's part of the program, isn't it?
I mean, honestly, when going back to the first year that I suggested we put money aside for TNR, remember that, Jack? That was in 2020. The first year it was in the budget was 2021. I said, let's put some money aside because people say they won't get the cats fixed because they don't want to pay for someone else's cats. So maybe we put some money aside and help pay and people get their cats fixed. And I mean, the intention at that point was we work with the Columbia Animal Shelter, and we've now worked with them. We've done good. It's time to let it go. What are we thinking?
I don't want to let it go. I think not doing the increase from 3 to 4.8, but I mean, it's had a tangible benefit in Colombia of having less stray cats, less stray cats with rabies, not affecting people's, household cats or dogs or people.
Well, I would say that depends who you talk to.
Yeah, we have cats
Because
all
there
over
are
the
there are
place.
there are areas
Very wickedized.
there are areas
Yeah.
that are definitely
My
seeing
house,
increase. And I'm not quite sure why, but I'm not quite sure what needs to happen, but
You cannot do it. Mathematically, you cannot do it. I'm sorry.
You can reduce it.
You have to capture them all in one day and
Get 'em.
TNR them all
Yeah.
so that you can control the population from that point
Cannot
forward.
do
Right.
it.
I mean, sure,
They
yeah, but
multiply
if-
faster than we're catching them.
If you just drop it entirely and they're not able to do that program anymore, it's going to get worse.
No, it's not.
It will.
they're
Yeah,
going to
well,
continue
well,
doing the
they're gonna continue
Program because
program
they're-
whether
To
we
get
give them the
funding
money
from a
or
different
not.
source.
But it
Right.
won't. It won't increase because public traffic will not allow it to increase.
Come on.
I'm dead serious. It is what it is. You have colonies here, you have colonies there. Okay? Those colonies get trapped. And I know the trapper. In fact, I know both trappers that did 99% of this. And they trap all the time. But as soon as two aren't trapped, the male and female aren't trapped, they fall 4 months behind in one sitting. Then they go back and they start trapping again. You figure they trapped, they might get 4 or 5 cats. And out of that 4 or 5 cats, the shelter may take 3 of them to TNR. Okay? Because they have to hit certain specifications as well. So then, you have 2 cats at Creighton, 6 more litter in a litter. And those litters happen 2-3 times a summer. Mathematically, it cannot be stopped unless you just wipe it completely out.
I'm a proponent of a mixed approach. I always have been. I don't think TNR is the answer. I think, and it's hard to hear for people, but I think extermination is part of the program, should be part of the program.
Well, I'm not saying extermination. Let's say there's
If
disease.
you really want to control it, I think that's the only way to do it.
There's disease, there's hunger, there's accidents, all kinds of things that are going to help control that population. A population, we see it as humans. Populations kind of grow so big in an area until they have to expand out. And if they're not able to expand out, what happens to them? It's just a way of life.
They die out.
Plus, by their own admission, they had said in years past that by a certain date, they would reach that point where they would be self-sufficient. And honestly, I don't really see a lot of, I mean, I certainly haven't seen anything like even a mailer come to your house saying, hey, we're CCAT, would you consider a donation? You know what I mean? There hasn't been really.
Well, hold on a second. See, it changed, like Heather said.
I know,
When
but
CCAT started out, it was supposed to go to become a
Right.
nonprofit.
it's supposed to become.
Right,
But
It didn't.
their cheapest avenue
Was to
was
go
to
there.
join with the cat shelter.
Right.
right.
Okay, so they went that route. The cat shelter is more worried about the cat shelter
Right.
than it is maintaining CCAT.
CCAT.
The CCAT by default depends on us and personal donations.
Donation.
So either we continue to pay and it stays afloat, or we stop paying and it will die out within months.
So you're saying not to give them anything or to cut back what you're giving them? Because I know we cut back last year.
I'm not.
Or just, I mean, I know they're asking for more. I don't want to give them more than we are giving them last year. But are you suggesting giving them less than that? So that
Me,
we're just cut, I know
personally,
you probably want to drop it,
No, I don't. I'm just saying, as a realist,
right?
you can throw millions of dollars at it.
And
You're
still,
never
okay.
going to stop
Unless
it.
you catch every cat
Okay.
once.
I think we gotta drop the CCAT and any of that excess money, just put it over to the library. We have much more benefit from the library than we do from the CCAT. We've got plenty of other ways to control cats. All these hawks, I live right next to the cemetery, I see them flying around constantly.
Now, you're
Also
running.
though, the cats do some service in controlling the rodent population. So there's a balance in
That's a
there,
myth.
like,
Okay.
I just, we don't need to be involved in that. But the library, that's a similar amount that the library is asking for an increase. Drop CCAT, give it to the library.
I am for dropping CCAT too.
I am
All
too.
right.
Mhm.
Heather, my goodness.
No, I mean, I would give, if anything, I would give CCAT $1,000.
I agree.
So you're not completely dropping them?
I
Not
agree.
And then
completely
that would
dropping.
be next year that you wouldn't.
Yep,
because
and
we're
then
done.
next year I wouldn't.
You
I
wouldn't
agree.
give them anything.
Well, that
So
was
they
the
can,
goal.
you know,
It's
I
a
don't know.
diminishing return, right? The
Yep.
farther we get.
Right.
So if we're giving some, there's still a good benefit from like 1,000.
Mhm.
There's just
No.
not, for
Right.
example, if we go up to near 5,000, we're gonna get like a little bit of a benefit from
Mhm.
now, but it's not
Yep.
gonna be huge, so
I don't understand why we're working in the money to the fire department into this section when we didn't do it last year. That was completely different. So last year you
Well-
said we gave 30,000. So leaving the fire department out, what everybody has asked for, how much over that 30,000 is it?
Okay.
20, 25, 35, 45, 46,
I think I had a number.
51,000.
So 51,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have like 29,000.
It
And
was 29.
yeah, you were saying,
It's still saving an increase.
I mean, I also feel like I would love to give more to the library.
Yeah, they do.
yeah,
I
I
just-
agree.
I mean, they are the hidden gem in Columbia. They are,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but I mean, we just increased last year
Yeah.
to 20,000.
And
15.
he's,
But it-
The library?
Did we
But the
go
way
15
he's,
last
the
year?
way
Yeah,
he's,
he said 15 last
Oh,
year.
that's, yeah, 15. We did do 15
We just
last
increased
year.
it last
Yeah.
year.
I mean, I would love to see the library go up to 25,000, honestly.
Well,
Like,
the way he's talking though, it sounds like what we're giving is just a drop in the
it's just,
bucket.
it's not,
Yeah.
he still
It's,
needs
it's like it's
80,000.
not,
I know.
it's not doing anything.
it's not doing nothing though. Like that's
No.
still.
Oh, it's,
Yeah.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, to me,
just
the library-
knowing from seeing the things, excuse me, what other municipalities are giving, we're pretty much in about the middle for donations. We're not like the lowest, but we're not the highest either. We're kind of in the middle. Although don't think I've seen the survey from Lancaster County municipalities for a couple of years. But the last I saw, we were about in the middle. The Veterans Council, I'm fully into the 1,000.
Yeah, and Mount Bethel.
Yep,
the
Mount
same with
Bethel.
Mount
Yeah,
Bethel.
Mount Bethel.
Chips.
It doesn't even cover the grass cutting, or anything.
I want to say the same for chips.
So I'm a little confused on chips. Are they a railroad yard, model museum,
Model museum.
or are they a historical museum?
They have a display in
Yeah,
the
display.
museum.
Without, the display was half their conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it brings in a lot
That's
of
what-
traffic.
That's it. But
Right.
they do have,
But it's bringing foot traffic for people who are into the model train industry.
Yeah, but then they're in town spending money and also still in the historic building, so like they.
and they
Every
do,
building in Columbia is historic, come on.
Exactly.
I'm kind of
well, they
thinking,
do, just so I know for a fact, they do have a temperature and humidity controlled room and space where they do have a lot of historical documents
Yeah.
of Columbia in their care and their storage.
I don't disagree with you.
The ones that didn't show up on eBay?
No comment.
Yeah, no comment.
So they have a $30,000 budget, and they're asking for $5,000 from us.
mhm.
I don't think.
Look, I stayed quiet the whole time he sat there, okay?
I hear you.
Hold on a second. That's, well, 1/6, 40%?
Mhm.
40% of their budget, they're asking for us. The fire company's asking 300,000 with a 90,000, 300,000 with a $900,000 budget, so,
Or $600,000 budget.
or 600. What's that?
Mhm.
Right.
But the library asked for 20,000 for $180,000 budget.
Right. All right, I get it. But other people have different streaming sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funding
They also
sources.
got 17% deducted from the county.
Mhm.
So they're actually
I
a little
know.
bit back
Well,
there.
no, I
so they're
know.
Trying to,
Yeah, I know. But yeah.
make it all meet up there.
Yeah, the library is really
But
getting pounded in their funding.
I think everybody needs to understand, no matter how you look at it, it's $350,000 that the Columbia Borough does not have.
Right.
So we're gonna have to talk about raising taxes again?
Oh, that didn't come out of my mouth this time. But it probably will the next meeting.
We'll have a better look with some of these numbers. Jack, did you make note of what we were saying tonight? Like CCAT at 1,000. Library, are we staying at 15 or are we going to 20?
What about 18?
She asked for,
Go in the middle.
wait,
It would only
she,
be $1,000 increase in total for community stuff.
she asked for
compared to last
$2 a resident, correct?
So that would be just shy of, that would be.
So around 20,000?
Yeah.
$2 a resident is
20K.
20,800.
Oh, you don't have to do that precise.
He asked for 20.
Heather.
so-
I didn't go that precise because I counted 2,000 or 10,400 when it's actually 10,322.
We could do it 21,000.
gosh.
I guess.
You gotta know them stats, baby.
Anywho, Hal.
How does the Historical Preservation Society fit into the list?
Supposedly care and erection of memorials.
But they aren't,
I know,
it's not a memorial.
I know.
It's a historical society.
I know.
I don't think it qualifies. I think it's a gray area. That's,
I think it's probably the closest thing that would qualify though.
Mhm.
And it has our artifacts.
And promotion of tourism.
I think that's probably more of
I
their
would do the
fit.
tourism one then.
I'd rather give the money to the upcoming Underground Railroad Museum.
Mhm.
No, the Underground Railroad Museum.
Well, they'll probably be here next year asking.
Oh,
They'll
sure.
be here before you know it.
They'll be here.
Yeah.
They'll be here.
I don't think so.
What is your number for chips?
5. I hate to say it.
5?
I don't want to.
No, I don't want to either. 100.
And I'm sorry, the Stephen Smith Foundation.
0.
0.
Doesn't meet our qualifications. Doesn't meet state qualifications.
Mhm. We do want to create a new line item for the fire department in addition to the line item for 111. We want another line item. It would be new. Brian will have to assign a number to it for 189 for apparatus fund.
So, while we're on that, because we do want that, can we use capital for that? I know we can buy equipment,
Yes.
but do we have to buy it outright and they pay us?
I have to talk to Evan.
That's what I'm not
Yeah.
I will
sure.
have to talk to Evan about that.
Because that may fall out
Sure
of
we do.
that general budget and fall into a capital
I
expense.
would really.
Because the other part of it is we're looking at an influx into capital next year as we sell properties.
What do you get after possibly depending?
Hold
what
on.
works out?
No.
hold on, no, we can't use capital for a depreciating asset. That's for, I mean, I'm sorry, but there's
That's
no,
true.
we can't take capital that needs to go into capital projects for the infrastructure of maintaining roads. So the Public Works Department, we're
So
looking
how do
at
we buy
building a
buy
new
vehicles off
shop.
capital?
I'm just saying, I'm
We're
not saying
not.
it's illegal to buy depreciating assets. I'm saying it's mismanagement of capital funds to
That's true.
use in that regards. we would also, if we bought it, we would have to get 3 bids or buy it through CoStars, which, whatever.
I'll ask Evan for his opinion.
I'm sure there's a loophole in that.
What about a
The
fire
veteran-
tax?
We talked about that.
Veterans Council stays 1,000.
Is it, do we meet the legal requirements of it, or it's,
We can have fire tax, I'm not voting for it. I raised taxes last year.
and you're gonna raise it again this year
Whatever.
at this rate?
I let these guys next year.
You'll still be on council.
But I'll be walking out the door, you guys be coming in.
Walking out the
You
door.
just said, but Peter, right? You just said that we can't invest in the apparatus now?
Not with the capital.
With the capital.
No, exactly. We
I'm
can.
saying we
It's not a good
should
business
not.
sense.
We can, it's just not good business.
Says
Right.
the council is broke.
Exactly.
I know, but the only way we're gonna get not broke is if we use capital funds to invest in things that give us a return on investment. And I'm not saying that the fire truck isn't a good investment per se, but it's not a financial return on investment that we need to balance
So,
our budget.
Our ROI should be 0. What are we doing? What are we building that we're looking for a return on investment?
Nothing at this point, but we should be.
I'm saying no, that should never be. Maybe roads, maybe you can say roads, the length of a road or whatever, the durability of a road is a return on investment. But municipalities should not be in the business of trying to make money.
We have a cell tower that makes us money that funds our,
We have a cell tower.
Yeah.
We own it.
at the end of Blunston Street.
No, we don't own the cell
We don't own the
tower.
tower, but
We lease the
We lease the
land
land.
that the cell
that
tower
it
is
sits
on.
on.
Right.
And that helps pay for Columbia Crossing.
So there's a return on investment.
I have a question for the fire department. Have you checked into used trucks? I'm sure you have. I'm just,
To be honest, we did not look at any used apparatus. It's not something that we're used to doing. And I think the main reason for that is that you never know what you're gonna get with maintenance. It's very rare that fire trucks are sold because they have too many or because they don't need it. It's typically they're sold early because of maintenance issues. They'd rather get it out.
what are you going to do with the current truck you have? You'll sell it.
We think it's worth.
Typically,
we
the
think we got
used
100.
market, yeah.
Yeah.
Typically, the used market is, you go there when you need something extra, for a short-term thing or whatever. It's not for your main.
There's two buyers that use fire trucks. The first is departments that cannot afford a new fire truck, and then the second is people that need something.
Well, you guys take care of your equipment, somebody's gonna get a good buy
Mhm.
for
All
100K.
So anything else on this stuff? I think we've
Beat a dead
exhausted this,
horse.
Jack. I think we're good. We have a few things answered before the next
Yes.
budget meeting. All right. Borough Council comments? Any final
I actually
thoughts?
still had something.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to just get clarification on, has the borough ever looked into doing or switching from a flat property tax to a split rate property tax between the land and the building?
I don't know that we can do that.
So I was looking into it over the last few days, and Pennsylvania is one of the only states that allow it. And looking at other municipalities that do have it, they range from boroughs and townships to cities. I couldn't quite find what if there would be a restriction for Columbia specifically to not be able to do that. I thought maybe it would be is it home rule
Yes.
municipality, but there are things that are not a home rule municipality that use split rate property taxes in Pennsylvania. So I'm not quite sure if there is a restriction to that, but
What would be the benefit?
so the benefit is basically you tax the land a lot more than the actual buildings, which will immediately give a tax decrease to probably about 70% of the people here in town, and then increase the tax on large or vacant lots.
We have none.
But what this also means is that any building that is vacant or just being sat on or people aren't using fully, then that encourages them to improve it rather than to just hold on to the land property. For instance, the lot, I think it's like 2 blocks up that way, that's blank, it was bought a few years ago, that would see a larger tax increase than what it currently has because there's nothing built on it. And encourage whoever owns it to actually use it and build something on it or sell it to somebody who would. So the idea behind a split rate tax rate is that it encourages development while easing the burden of taxes on, small homes, especially here in Columbia where we're super dense.
That sounds more like a township proposal. I'm not saying because of a township. I'm just saying, I look at Manheim, Manor, Enfield. They have large land masses that are unused.
Well, so
farming, whatever. But that can offset the burden for the homeowners. Columbia has no land mass, none.
Well, so
That one little lot up there is not gonna make a difference.
Well, so that's the thing is that it is actually most effective in towns like Columbia. The other towns here that have used it are places like Washington, Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh. Allentown and Harrisburg have both used it very well in their dense neighborhoods. They also don't have large.
Say it again. You said Washington and who else?
Washington, PA, Harrisburg, Allentown, Clairton, DuBois, Lock Haven, McKeesport, all similar size to Columbia, all similar densities.
I think they're all.
With the exception of DuBois.
Are you talking size? Are you talking population? Are you talking land?
I'm talking both population and land mass. In fact, Washington specifically is only like 0.2 less square miles than Columbia and only about 1,000 people less. I just think it's something that if we can look into, it's a bit of a process to get started, but it is mathematically proven to help encourage investment in towns like Columbia. So if we have discussed it before and I just couldn't find it online, that's fine. But I think it's something we should potentially look into as far as a way to encourage investment, potentially increase tax revenue overall. Harrisburg, for instance, says that while revenue has increased for the city, the effective tax rate has actually dropped after doing that. It's a whole thing to look into, but I just wanted clarification.
I think it's a good idea to look into for sure. I guess my question is, if it's a city thing, like that you have to be a home rule city or.
So I couldn't find anything about that. I saw municipalities that have home rule and don't have home rule that have implemented it.
Mm-hmm.
Boroughs, townships, cities, all kinds.
Yeah, Lock Haven, California, but definitely boroughs.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if there was something restricting Columbia.
Yeah.
Look into that.
Yeah.
All right, council comments.
Just good to have all of you guys running for office here with us tonight, and good discussion. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Same thing here. A lot of good input from a lot of different angles.
Anything else?
Nope.
No.
No, ma'am.
Eric?
Eric has nothing.
Go ahead, say it. Just go. Just
Eric,
say
come
it.
on.
Come on, it's already what?
Yeah, just come on, let's figure it out.
2011.
Is it really?
It's early.
It doesn't feel that late.
The early days, we went to 1 o'clock. Remember that, Jack?
No, we cannot.
We haven't gone this late.
If you could go get us coffee or something, maybe you could.
You guys want to get pizza?
Something.
Councilperson Fisher.
Just thank you all for being here and thanks for your input.
Yep.
Anything, Councilperson? McCoy?
Yeah, it was really great discussion tonight. It was a fun meeting. Thanks for being here. Really good input. I won't be here Thursday.
Next Thursday.
I will not, we're acquiring another business. I'll be in settlement deals and crazy stuff. So I won't be around.
All right. Will you be here Tuesday for the council meeting?
Yes.
Okay. I have nothing. Although, no, I will say, Leo and I, on Friday, the 25th or 26th of September, we went on the water tour. I highly recommend anyone to do that next year when they do it, when they offer it. We saw 3-4 different projects for stormwater. It was very interesting. Had a wonderful lunch at John Wright and got to see some really cool, interesting ways that municipalities have worked to fulfill their MS4 and Act 167 plans. So that was pretty interesting. And I got cool stickers from the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. Trees for trout, plant more trees. Yeah. So announcement of next meeting at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, October 14th. Council will hold a regular meeting. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
The motion by Councilperson Geezy, second by Councilperson Stahl to adjourn at 10:40 p.m. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No. We're adjourned. Eric, I need to ride home.